Chapter 2201. 2201 2201 Dragon Palace. Dragon King. 2. The sounds of shock and exclamations caused everyone to stare at the group of dragon guards and Wang Xian. Their eyes sparkled. In the past 3 years, the dragon guards had made quite a name for themselves in the central region. The titles of the God of Swords and their powerful sword techniques. At this moment, they were completely recognized. In addition, the dragon guards had killed 5,000 experts of the Starry Sky Pirates in just a few seconds, which made them extremely moved. Everyone saw the heaven and earth change after the fall of the gods. A holy sword was facing the experts of the eternal twin foxes from afar, which made many people extremely shocked. Not only the life-killing sword god, is this the power of Princess Huyaner's mysterious fiancé? So powerful! More than 80 godly state experts. This power is even stronger than the combined power of our divine tiger dynasty and the Huan celestial race. All the disciples of the Huan celestial race and the divine tiger dynasty were shocked when they saw this scene. Was this the mysterious background of that Wang Xian? Their expressions were a little ugly. However, even if he has such strength, he is still not worthy of our Princess Huyaner. The faces of the disciples changed as they spoke in a gloomy tone. You are courting death. Do you really think that the eternal twin foxes wouldn't dare to do anything to you? In the sky above the eternal twin foxes in the middle, an expert at the peak of the godly state stared at Wang Xian with a cold expression. His face was filled with killing intent. Their eyes swept across Aojian, who was holding the holy divine sword above his head. Their expressions were extremely ugly. Not long ago, an expert at the peak of the godly state dared to be arrogant in front of them? If not for Princess Huyaner, they would have killed her long ago. Even so, they were not prepared to let them off since they dared to kill people on the day their master took them in as his disciples. The expert of the eternal twin foxes is angry. Hearing the angry roar of the expert at the peak of the godly state, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. Their expressions changed slightly as they watched quietly. Wang Xian raised his head and looked at that expert. A cold expression appeared on his face. How about killing a bunch of people who are courting death? He said indifferently. So what if he killed those who were courting death? Furthermore, Wang Xian didn't come here today to see the Master of God taking in a disciple. How about it? Wang Xian's arrogant words made all the disciples of the eternal twin foxes extremely furious. Arrogant fellow, kill him! Kill him! No one dares to be arrogant in our eternal twin foxes! Some of the disciples couldn't help but stand up and shout with murderous intent. Everyone's expression changed instantly. The group of eternal twin foxes experts also stood up with extremely cold expressions. Princess Huyaner is here! At this moment, a voice suddenly came from the entrance. Princess Huyaner has arrived! Everyone focused their eyes and looked at the entrance. The expressions of the experts hovering above the eternal twin foxes changed, and they immediately returned to their seats. The godly state experts also immediately restrained their expressions. At the center of the entrance, Huyaner slowly walked over from the center. She was dressed in luxurious clothes and held a divine weapon staff in her hand. Her entire person was emitting a holy light. Around her, Hu Fei, Hu Ji, and the core experts of the Huan celestial race, the Tiger Emperor and Empress, were accompanying her. Behind her, there were a few peak-stage immortal realm elders of the eternal twin foxes. So beautiful! When everyone saw Huyaner's face, their eyes revealed a look of amazement. However, when Huyaner had just entered, she suddenly saw corpses one after another. She let out a low cry and her face turned slightly pale. What's going on? The expressions of the Tiger Emperor, Empress, Eternal Twin Fox, and a few other experts at the peak of the godly state changed slightly. Elder, it's them! An expert shouted with a gloomy face. Elder, it's them! A disciple of Eternal Twin Fox walked over immediately. He looked at Huyaner and said to Wang Xian and the rest, "Huh! The elder was slightly taken aback. Hu Yan'er immediately raised her head and looked over as well. Brother Wang Xian! When she saw Wang Xian, she was slightly taken aback. Then, a smile appeared on her face. However, when she saw the corpses beside Wang Xian, her expression changed again. She moved and wanted to walk towards Wang Xian. Yan'er, just let them handle it. Everyone is watching. When the Empress saw that she wanted to go over, she immediately stretched out her hand to stop her and said, Empress, please let go. Hu Yan'er's expression changed. Wang Xian's words from yesterday had reminded her of something. She frowned and said to the Empress. When the Empress heard her words, her expression changed slightly. She looked at Hu Fei at the side and gestured to her. Yan'er, the time is almost up. Let's go over first. Hu Fei frowned and said to her. Father, Hu Yan'er looked hesitant when she heard her father's words. It's all right. Some people are courting death. Wang Xian looked at Hu Yan'er, who was at the entrance. When he saw her troubled expression, he smiled and said to her, it's good that brother Wang Xian is all right. Hu Yan'er turned her head and nodded with a smile. Then, she waved at him. Let's go! When the Empress saw this scene, she looked a little embarrassed. The current her did not dare to offend Hu Yan'er. This Princess Hu Yan'er seems to have a good relationship with that young man. Princess Hu Yan'er seems to be very concerned about that young man. Are they really not engaged? When everyone around saw this scene, they were astonished. Their expressions changed as they looked at Wang Xian and the rest once again. When everyone from the Eternal Twin Foxes saw this scene, their expressions turned ugly. However, no one dared to say anything. Their master had said that Hu Yan would very likely inherit the entire Eternal Twin Foxes in the future. Who would dare to offend her? No one. Yan is here, come! A group of experts at the peak of the immortal realm from the Eternal Twin Foxes greeted Hu Yan'er with a smile. Hu Yan'er nodded with a smile and walked towards the center of the square. In the center of the square, there was a chair. In front of the chair, there was a blanket and a futon on the blanket. There were a few tables on the side with tea on them. This was the item needed to wait for the arrival of the Double Fox God Lord to hold the ceremony. Yan'er, you wait here now. The God Lord will arrive on time, the group of Eternal Double Foxes experts said to her. Okay. Hu Yan'er nodded and stood in front of the futon. The fox-patterned celestial race's Tiger Emperor and Empress who were around her immediately walked to the front and sat down. She stood in the middle. At this moment, everyone was looking at her. How beautiful! Some people couldn't help but praise her. Even the disciples of the Eternal Double Foxes were looking at Hu Yan'er, who was standing in the middle with burning faces. Following that, some of the Eternal Twin Foxes' disciples and the Divine Tiger Dynasty's fox-patterned celestial race's disciples looked at Wang Xian and the rest who were standing at the entrance. HMPH, so what if you are a powerhouse who is at the peak of the godly state? So what if you have more than 80 underlings of the gods? You are not worthy. You are still not worthy. Compared to the Eternal Twin Foxes, you are nothing. Some people mumbled. Chapter 2202 2202 2202 Dragon Palace. Dragon King. 3. In the middle of the square of the Eternal Twin Foxes, Hu Yan'er stood there quietly, waiting for the arrival of the Divine Master of the Twin Foxes. Everyone's gaze was focused on her. At this moment, they had forgotten about what had just happened. When the people from the Eternal Twin Foxes saw Hu Yan'er's attitude, they did not bother about Wang Xian anymore. At the entrance, only Wang Xian and the dragon guards were sitting there. They looked exceptionally eye-catching. Wang Xian ordered the dragon guards to put away all the corpses and sat there waiting. Ever since Hu Yan'er arrived, the entire square gradually quieted down. Millions of people were waiting quietly. Buzz! A red and green light suddenly appeared in the void. The two rays of light emitted a comfortable radiance, as if purple clouds had come from the east for 100,000 li, illuminating the entire sky. A vast and holy figure slowly flew over from the center of the distant Twin Fox continent. It's here! God Master Twin Fox is here! When everyone saw the abnormal changes in the sky, they immediately raised their heads, and their faces revealed a reverent expression. Voila! The skirt in the hands of God Master Double Fox waved slightly, and she instantly appeared in the center of the square. She stood there quietly, and the entire world seemed to be centered around her. Greetings, Lord God Master! Everyone from the Eternal Double Fox quickly stood up and shouted loudly. Greetings, Lord God Master Double Fox! Everyone around also immediately stood up and shouted loudly. Double Fox God Lord nodded her head faintly. Her gaze swept around her, and a satisfied expression appeared on her face. However, when she looked at the entrance, she raised her eyebrows slightly. Ha ha, Double Fox, who hasn't taken in a disciple for hundreds of thousands of years, is actually taking in a disciple with such great fanfare today. What kind of disciple is it that you like so much? At this moment, a loud laughter rang out. A middle-aged man dressed in earthen yellow clothes appeared at the entrance. His speed was very fast, like a ghost. When everyone looked over, they discovered that he was already sitting in a seat. The middle-aged man sized up Hu Yan'er in the arena. Oh! What a special physique, what a powerful would attribute physique. No wonder you two foxes took him in as a disciple in such a grand manner. The middle-aged man who had just sat down narrowed his eyes slightly, stood up, and said with a face full of shock. Ha ha, 7-star, how about this disciple of mine? In the future, this disciple of mine has a very high chance of inheriting my mantle. Twin Fox God Lord looked at the 7-star God Lord who had just arrived, and said with a somewhat proud laugh. Such a powerful physique, if I meet him, I will also take him in as an inheritance disciple. 7-star God Lord's figure moved and appeared directly on Hu Yan'er's body. He sized her up with a face full of fervor. HMPH, 7-star, don't even think about getting any ideas. Double Fox God Lord stared coldly at him. I didn't expect that Double Fox's luck would be so good. 7-star God Lord looked at her with some envy. With a move of his palm, a wood god pearl that was emitting a powerful life force appeared in his hand. A peak god realm wood god pearl for the little girl. As he spoke, he waved his hand, and the wood god pearl floated in front of Hu Yan'er. Hiss, what a big deal. A peak god realm wood god pearl. What kind of constitution does Princess Hu Yan'er have? To think that even the 7-star God Lord is so moved and wants to take her as a disciple. The 7-star God Lord is so honest and generous. It seems that he has also taken a liking to Princess Hu Yan'er's talent. When everyone around saw the two Master Gods appear and 7-star Master God's grand gesture, they were all incomparably amazed. They were even more amazed by Hu Yan'er's talent. Hee, my luck has always been better. Double Fox Master God said happily. Then today, congratulations on finding an heir. Do you want to marry our outstanding eternal 7-star disciples? Our eternal 7-star disciples can marry into the family. 7-star God Lord smiled and said to Twin Fox God Lord. HMPH, don't even think about it. Twin Fox God Lord directly refused. Haha, then I won't join in the fun. 7-star God Lord laughed loudly. He had never thought that the other party would agree. Twin Fox God Lord's disciple's physique truly made him exclaim in admiration. He had given away such a treasure to form a good relationship. After saying that, he moved and left. Marry in? This 7-star God Master actually wants to marry in? A 7-star outstanding disciple wants to marry in? Even the 7-star God Master wants to marry in this. Hearing the 7-star God Master's words, everyone's hearts were even more shocked. They looked at the young man at the entrance, whether intentionally or not. Congratulations to God Master Twin Fox for accepting such a good disciple. Before we take her as our master, allow our heavenly brilliant God dynasty to give Princess Hu Yan'er a gift. At this moment, a peak deity realm expert walked over respectfully with a treasure in his hand. Congratulations to Double Fox Divine Master for accepting a disciple. The Light Wind Sword Divine Sect has presented a gift to Princess Huyener. Congratulations to Double Fox Divine Master for accepting a beloved disciple. The Dragon Source Divine Sect has presented a gift to Princess Huyener. Some factions stepped forward to present the gift. Upon seeing Double Fox Divine Master nodding his head with a smile, the rest of the faction's experts hurriedly stepped forward and respectfully walked up to the precious divine item. Every treasure was worth a lot, and it could cause a fight between God Realm experts. Thank you, everyone! Huyener saw the forces coming over to give gifts. She looked at the Double Fox God Lord and nodded. Then, she hurriedly took the gifts and thanked them. The powerful forces rushed over with respectful faces. This made all the members of the Central Fox Fane God clan look proud. Huyener was the disciple of the foxes. It was the glory of the foxes. The dozens of forces that came forward one by one. Wang Xian looked at Huyener, who was in the middle of the scene. He saw that almost all the forces had already passed by. He stood up slowly. There were some matters that needed to be resolved before Huyener became her master. He walked down from his seat, and the members of the Dragon Palace immediately followed behind him. Eh? The eternal twin foxes were slightly stunned when they saw Wang Xian walking over from the opposite seat. They were even more astonished when they saw the group of dragon guards behind him. Young Master Wang Xian, we know that your faction is very powerful. You don't need to bring your subordinates here to deliver gifts. After all, your little faction is only SOSO. I wonder what gift young Master Wang Xian is sending Yener. When the Empress of the Divine Tiger Empire saw Wang Xian walking over with a group of people, her expression was a little ugly, as she spoke sarcastically. Just now, when she learned that Wang Xian had such a powerful subordinate, she was extremely shocked. However, she was still very displeased with him. Was the faction under him very powerful? However, it was only SOSO. At the very least, the Divine Tiger Empire might not be as strong as the Godly State experts, but their overall strength was much stronger. I have 3 things that I want an answer from the Master of Double Foxes. After these 3 things, I will naturally send you a congratulatory gift. Wang Xian led the members of the Dragon Guard to the center of the square, and stopped 3 kilometers away. His gaze swept across everyone in the Double Foxes and landed on the Master of Double Foxes. It was time to pay back the debt. Chapter 2203 2203 2203 Dragon Palace. Dragon King. 4. Eh? What is he trying to do? Is he questioning the Master of Double Fox? When everyone saw Wang Xian leading his subordinates to the scene and asking the Master of Double Fox 3 questions, the expressions of everyone around changed slightly. Leading his subordinates to ask the Master of Double Fox 3 questions, this scene seemed to have some ill intentions. Impudent! Be careful when you speak to our Master of God! An eternal Double Fox expert at the peak of the godly state shouted sternly with a cold expression on his face. Wang Xian, bring your men down quickly! When the Tiger Emperor saw that he had offended him, he roared with a gloomy face. Hee! Wang Xian stood there without saying a word. He did not even look at them. He stared at the Double Fox Master of God with a calm expression. Brother Wang Xian! Huyener looked at her, and called out softly with a face full of doubt. You are very courageous and have some ability. However, you are still lacking if you want to match up to my disciple. I will give you a chance to say 3 sentences. Speak! The Double Fox deity looked at Wang Xian, and waved his hand slightly as he spoke indifferently. At the side, Huyener frowned slightly when she heard the words of the Double Fox deity. Her eyes were flickering. Ha! When Wang Xian heard the words of the Double Fox deity, he couldn't help but smile contemptuously. He moved his palm and a corpse floated in front of him. With a wave of his arm, he threw it directly in front of the Double Fox deity. First thing, why did this disciple of the eternal Double Fox find an assassin to kill me? Wang Xian placed his hands behind his back and asked indifferently. Huh? What? Hiss, what's going on? Everyone's expression changed drastically when they saw Wang Xian suddenly throwing out a corpse. At the back, many people from the Eternal Twin Foxes stood up and stared at the corpse. "It's the cry of the Divine Fox! It's the cry of the Divine Fox!" Some disciples recognized the cry of the Divine Fox and exclaimed in shock. "The cry of the Divine Fox is actually dead. Is this what you call it?" An expert at the peak of the godly state had a gloomy expression as he stared at Wang Xian and shouted in a stern voice. Everyone in the surroundings stared at Wang Xian in shock. What was he doing here? He threw out the corpse of a disciple of the Eternal Twin Foxes. Was he here to provoke him? Was he here to court death? Behind him, Divine Fox Knight stared at Divine Fox Ming's corpse as his body trembled slightly. "He wants to find an assassin to kill me. Why would I spare him? I haven't finished the first thing. Divine Fox Knight, he is following your orders to find an assassin." Wang Xian ignored the cold expression of the Eternal Double Fox expert and continued to speak indifferently. He turned his gaze towards the position of the Divine Fox Knight. His eyes were extremely cold. "You are slandering me! You are slandering me! You killed the disciple of our Eternal Double Fox, and you still dare to frame me! You're courting death! You're courting death!" Upon hearing Wang Xian's words, the Divine Fox Knight was enraged. She roared at Wang Xian with a ferocious expression. "You're slandering me! You're slandering our Eternal Twin Fox's disciple! You'll have to pay the price!" The group of Eternal Twin Foxes experts stared at Wang Xian with cold faces. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. "Wang Xian, don't mess around here! Do you know the consequences? Don't seek your own death!" When the Divine Tiger Dynasties Huan Celestial Race, the Tiger Empress, and some of the experts from the Huan Celestial Race saw this scene, their expressions changed slightly as they shouted sternly. After all, Wang Xian was still Hu Yan's fiancé. If he were to mess around like this, it would have a huge impact on Hu Yan. It also had some impact on the Celestial Dynasty and the Celestial Race. This made their faces extremely gloomy. They were filled with anger towards Wang Xian. Even the Tiger Emperor and the Empress were filled with killing intent. "I'm warning you. If you don't have any evidence to falsely accuse us, the core disciples of the Eternal Twin Foxes, and the crime of killing our Eternal Twin Foxes disciples, regardless of your identity, we will definitely kill you today." Sitting in the middle of the Eternal Twin Foxes, the Great Elder stood up slowly. He waved his hand at the people beside him and shouted sternly, "Boom! Boom! Boom!" In an instant, 6 experts at the peak of the godly state led dozens of godly state experts to fly over from their seats. They held weapons in their hands and locked their gazes on Wang Xian and the rest. Everyone's expression changed slightly when they saw this scene. This time, the Eternal Twin Foxes were completely enraged. Hu Yan's expression also changed slightly. She looked at Wang Xian anxiously. "Evidence?" The corner of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly. He stared at the group of experts from the Eternal Twin Foxes with a cold expression. "If you want evidence, we can give you the dragon spike." At this moment, a black and white phantom slowly appeared around Wang Xian. Ao Yao's figure appeared behind Wang Xian. With a wave of his arm, he threw a communication stone plate at them. "He found our dragon spike to kill our dragon king." "Hee, how interesting. You dared to kill our king, die." A cold killing intent was emitted from Ao Yao's mouth. He stared at the Eternal Twin Foxes and the rest of the powerhouses with a grim expression. "Buzz! Buzz! Buzz!" As soon as he finished his sentence, numerous shadows flickered behind him. About 2,500 strange demons slowly appeared in front of everyone. What? Everyone in the surroundings was shocked when they saw the shadows appearing behind Wang Xian. How is this possible? Dragon Spike is the Dragon Assassin Organization. That's right, it's them. The white shadows and the black and white shadows are the Dragon Assassin Organization. This Dragon Assassin Organization? They were famous 3 years ago. Ever since they established the Dragon Assassin organization, which had no defeats, that Wang Xian is actually the leader of the Dragon Assassin organization. Some of the powerhouses could not help but stand up. They stared at Ao Yao and the rest with solemn and shocked faces. The Dragon Assassin organization was the most famous assassin organization in the entire Boundless Star field. They could kill all the experts below the peak of the God realm. Moreover, since the establishment of the Dragon Assassin Group, they had never failed a mission. The appearance of the Dragon Assassin Group had once made the big forces in the central area panic. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that this group was the king of the dark forces in the Boundless Star area. They had never thought that the Dragon Assassin Group was also that young man's subordinate. Just now, the appearance of the group of Dragon Guards had already shocked them. Now, such a terrifying and influential assassin group had appeared. How is this possible? The expressions of the Divine Tiger Dynasty and the Fox Mark Divine Race changed when they saw the strange demon appear. They stood up and widened their eyes, filled with disbelief. Even the Tiger Emperor and the Empress expressions changed drastically. Dragon Spike! This was the Dragon Spike! Even those forces that had peak deity realm experts did not dare to offend such an assassin organization. Bang! The communication stone plate fell to the ground with a crisp sound. It seemed to have smashed into the hearts of everyone from the Eternal Twin Foxes. The expressions of everyone from the Eternal Twin Foxes were extremely ugly. Even the Dragon Assassin organization had come out. The other party was basically able to produce enough evidence for this matter. When Divine Fox Knight saw this matter, her expression changed drastically, and a trace of fear appeared in her eyes. Chapter 2204 2204 2204 Dragon Palace. Dragon King. 5. You're talking nonsense. You're framing people. The Dragon Assassin organization is your subordinate. Naturally, you'll do whatever you say. Divine Fox Knight stood there and saw many people looking at him. Some of the Eternal Twin Fox's disciples and experts were also looking at him. His expression changed drastically, and his heart was filled with horror as he roared ferociously. He could not admit it. He definitely could not admit it. His great-grandfather had warned him not to let anyone know that they were dealing with Hu Yan'er's fiancée. Otherwise, the Lord God might kill him for Hu Yan'er. Even if he did not kill him, he would be completely finished in the future. He could not admit it. Godly Fox Knight, you actually found an assassin organization to assassinate Brother Wang Xian. In the middle, Hu Yan'er stared at Godly Fox Knight with a face full of anger. Her expression was extremely cold. I didn't. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with me. Godly Fox Knight retorted loudly. Hee hee. Wang Xian looked at him with a faint smile on his face. He looked at the Dual Fox God. The Dual Fox God looked at her as well. There wasn't the slightest fluctuation on his face. The second thing. Wang Xian didn't reply to her immediately. He raised his head slightly and continued speaking. With a wave of his arm, a corpse appeared in front of him as well. Bam! Wang Xian casually threw the corpse onto the ground. What's going on now? When everyone around saw this scene, their expressions changed again. Oh no! When Divine Fox Howren saw this corpse, his expression changed drastically. Divine Fox Howren, do you recognize him? He is your subordinate. He came to assassinate my subordinate yesterday. The next time you send someone to kill me, make sure you know before you make your move. At this moment, when Divine Fox Howren heard Wang Xian's voice, his heart sank and he looked over. He stared at him with a mocking expression, causing his expression to be extremely awkward. At this moment, everyone around also looked at Divine Fox Howren. After seeing his expression, they could basically confirm it. Why did Divine Fox Knight and Divine Fox Howren want to kill Hu Yan'er's fiancée? Was it an order from the Eternal Twin Foxes? This is simply a huge face-smacking scene. The Twin Foxes' God Lord recruited his disciple, But the eternal twin foxes killed the fiancé of the God Lord's disciple. When everyone saw this scene, they started to discuss animatedly. Some of them looked at Wang Xian and felt a little sympathetic. Yan-er and that Wang Xian are not really engaged. When the Empress heard the discussions about the eternal twin foxes and saw the embarrassed expressions of the eternal twin foxes experts around her, she immediately said loudly, "That's right, this is a temporary measure." An expert from the fox-patterned race chimed in. "The third matter." Wang Xian swept a cold glance at the queen and the rest before landing on the body of the double fox god. He waved his arm again, and the corpses landed in front of the double fox god again. "They are from the space pirates. Could it be that the space pirates are also instructed by someone? It should be. Although the space pirates are arrogant and despotic, they wouldn't go and find trouble with Hu Yan-er's fiancée for no reason," some people said softly when they saw the corpses of the space pirates from earlier. "Godly fox Shihu!" Wang Xian spat out 4 words softly and didn't say anything else. On the stage, Godly Fox Shihu's eyebrows twitched when he saw the space pirates' corpses. There wasn't the slightest fluctuation on his face. "Words have no basis." He stared at Wang Xian coldly. "You should know some things yourself," Wang Xian said calmly as he looked at the double fox deity. "There are 3 things. I wonder if the double fox deity will give you an explanation?" she asked the double fox deity. "An explanation?" The double fox deity looked at Wang Xian as he swept his gaze across his subordinates behind him. Suddenly, he laughed mockingly. "Yan-er, there might be some people in the eternal double fox who are insensible. I will handle this matter." She turned her head and ignored Wang Xian as she spoke to Hu Yan-er. She didn't put Wang Xian in her eyes at all. If she didn't consider Hu Yan-er's emotions, she would have killed him directly. The so-called 3 matters were a provocation and a joke in her eyes. "Master, you..." Hu Yan-er's expression changed as she looked at Wang Xian. "Haha, Master Duo Fox, does this mean that you are not going to give me an explanation?" Wang Xian saw that Hu Yan was ignoring him. He laughed out loud and asked coldly. Boom. However, just as he finished his sentence, an extremely terrifying aura pressed down on Wang Xian. "Master, don't!" Hu Yan's expression changed drastically as she immediately flew towards Wang Xian. Humph! The double fox god master's expression turned ugly. The aura around him dissipated. "Kid, do you know the price of provoking the god master? You asked me for an explanation. Do you have the qualifications to do so? Get out of the western region immediately. Don't ever let me see you again in the future. Otherwise..." She stared at Wang Xian coldly and said in a cold tone. She wasn't threatening him. Although she was angry about the matter of the eternal twin foxes, this was their eternal twin foxes. They had to settle it themselves. A kid wanted her to give him an explanation? Even if he was the fiancé of her disciple, he would still be punished with death if he dared to provoke her. Hu Yan's expression changed slightly when she heard the words of the double fox god. She bit her lips tightly and stood in front of Wang Xian. Her face was filled with stubbornness. "Yan-er, come back! Yan-er, come here!" The Empress and the Tiger Emperor's expression changed drastically when they saw this scene. Even Hu Fei and the rest stood up hurriedly and shouted at Hu Yan-er. At this moment, they also knew that the double fox celestial master was already angry. It has actually come to this point. It seems like Hu Yan-er really loves that young man. Everyone looked on quietly, their eyes shining brightly. Haha? You want me to get out of the western region? Or what? Kill me? You are not the only god who wants to kill me, Wang Xian. What happened in the end? Wang Xian suddenly laughed maniacally when he heard the words of the double fox god. A strong sense of confidence emanated from him. Double fox god, if you can give me a proper explanation today, I might let Yan-er take you as her master. Now, you don't have the qualifications to be her master. Furthermore, if you don't give me an explanation, I will ask for an explanation myself. Wang Xian stared at Master Duo Fox wantonly with a frosty expression. An endless majestic aura emanated from his body. At the same time, the Divine Kingdom's dragon palace slowly emerged behind him. What is he trying to do? Me, the Dragon King? Everyone was filled with shock when they saw the endless power coming from Wang Xian and his Divine Kingdom. Roar! 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 At this moment, an earth-shattering roar came from the dragon palace behind them. A black dragon soared into the sky as 9 divine wind dragons emerged from the dragon palace. All the members of the combat divisions of the dragon palace flew out from the dragon palace and landed behind Wang Xian. Dragon King Offender, kill! A roar resounded in the sky. Dragon King Offender, kill! Chapter 2205 2205 2205 God Lord, listen to my command 1. Those who offend the Dragon King, kill! With a shout, the killing intent shook the sky. There were more than 50,000 powerhouses in the entire Dragon Palace. None of them were weaker than a demigod level 9. In the Dragon Palace, when Wang Xian left, there were more than 350 members with combat strength at the nerve level. Now, with the addition of the Dragon Spur Division and the Dragon Guards, the combat strength at the deity level had reached more than 500. There were 9 experts at the peak of the godly state. They stood neatly behind the Dragon King, exuding a cold and violent aura. In the sky, the dark blazing demonic dragon was circling around, exuding a terrifying pressure. At this moment, everyone looked at the group of experts behind Wang Xian in shock. Gulp. The sound of gulping could be heard clearly. Everyone stared at the group of experts from the Dragon Palace in astonishment. Ahem, this is... the Dragon King? They are the Dragon Palace of the Northern Region. Hu Yan's fiancé is the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace of the Northern Region, the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. An expert felt the terrifying pressure from the members of the Dragon Palace and roared in a low voice with a shocked face. His voice echoed throughout the sky. The Dragon Palace of the Northern Region, the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. This was a legendary force for the entire boundless star field. The rise of the Dragon Palace directly cost half of the Northern Region. The Eternal Thunder God Lord of the Northern Region personally went on an expedition and returned in defeat. The rise of the Dragon Palace in the entire Northern Region was an existence that could contend against a God Lord level force. Some time ago, the Northern Region's Thunder God Lord didn't hesitate to lower his status and sneak attack the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. In the end, the Dragon King was heavily injured and escaped. After that, the furious Dragon Palace attacked Eternal Thunder one after another, causing it to lose several planets. The Dragon Palace was said to be an existence that was almost comparable to the 5 God Lord level forces. Who would have thought that Hu Yan's fiancé was actually the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace? An overlord-level existence. A true existence that could make the entire boundless star field tremble with just a stomp of his foot. This is simply unbelievable. No wonder he dared to ask God Lord Double Fox 3 things. He dared to kill the eternal Double Fox disciple. It's because the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace has the qualifications and strength to do so. The people of the Eternal Double Fox dared to send people to assassinate the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. This is simply courting death. This is a provocation to a powerful force. The people around looked at Wang Xian and mumbled in shock. They finally understood why Hu Yan's fiancé dared to face the Eternal Double Fox Divine Master so arrogantly. He dared to demand an explanation from the Double Fox Divine Master without any scruples. That was because he was the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. These 4 words were enough. No, this isn't real. This isn't real. Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. Hu Yan actually saved the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace back then. Oh right, it seems like the Thunderclap Divine Master ambushed the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace in those few days. This. Everyone from the Divine Tiger Dynasty and the Fox-patterned celestial race looked down and trembled. Especially the Tiger Emperor and the Empress, their faces instantly turned extremely pale. In the past few days, they didn't give Wang Xian a good look and even mocked him. They even berated him loudly just now. They recalled how they said that Wang Xian wasn't worthy of their yener, and that Wang Xian wasn't qualified. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace wasn't qualified? How? Hu Fei, Hu Ji, and the rest also had their mouths agape as they looked at the powerful overlord below. How could they have thought that this was one of the two overlords of the northern region? Brother Wang Xian! Hu Yan looked at the group of experts behind Wang Xian with a face full of shock. She had a dazed expression on her face. This was his mysterious background. Dragon Palace! In front of them, everyone in the Eternal Double Fox suddenly stood up and stared at the experts of the Dragon Palace with a solemn expression. Especially the demon dragon in the sky, which was giving off a power that made them tremble. They had heard of this demon dragon before, and even the Thunder God Lord of the Northern region couldn't do anything to it. Dragon Palace Dragon King! Double Fox God Lord's pupils constricted slightly, and her face was filled with a solemn expression. She didn't expect that the other party was actually the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. A young man who had threatened her earlier and had a disdainful look on his face was actually in existence who could contend against the Divine Master's forces. The atmosphere instantly turned solemn. Double Fox Divine Master, is it me, the Dragon King, who will make a move, or are you going to kill him? Wang Xian stared at the Double Fox Divine Master and said coldly, Master Celestial Master! Upon hearing Wang Xian's words, everyone in the Eternal Double Fox clan looked extremely embarrassed. Especially Divine Fox Knight, Divine Fox Haoran, Divine Fox Shihu, and the other two. A hint of fear appeared on their faces. No matter what, they never expected that the person they wanted to kill would be an overlord of a region. Divine Fox Shihu could not help but shout softly at her grandmother. Dragon King, you should know the reason why your Dragon Palace is able to fight against Eternal Thunderclap. Your demonic dragon is no match for the Divine Lord. You are still far from our eternal twin foxes. In particular, if you dare to fight against our eternal twin foxes, I think Eternal Thunderclap would be more than happy to come and kill you. The Divine Lord of Twin Foxes stared at Wang Xian and spoke with a cold expression. The two green and red tails behind her were raised high, showing her serious attitude. At this moment, she naturally could not hand over the disciple of the Eternal Twin Foxes. Putting aside the kinship between them, as long as she handed him over, others would think that the Eternal Twin Foxes were afraid of the Dragon Palace. Furthermore, even if she knew that he was from the Dragon Palace of the Northern region, she was not afraid. The other party's strength was not stronger than the Eternal Twin Foxes. Yener, come here! After she finished speaking, she said to Hu Yener, I was just an ordinary disciple of the fox-patterned celestial race in the past. More than 10 days ago, I was only at the level of a demigod. It was Brother Wang Xian who raised me to the peak of the demigod realm. Furthermore, it was Brother Wang Xian who gave me the special fruit that allowed me to possess my current physique. Hu Yener bit her lips when she heard the words of the Double Fox God Lord. Her gaze was firm as she spoke. More than 10 days ago, she was just a slightly good-looking lady who had her engagement annulled. She knew that she did not have a strong physique, nor was she too talented. Everything was because of Brother Wang Xian. Otherwise, she would not have the strength that she had now, and would not have been taken in as a disciple by the God Lord. What? Everyone's faces were filled with awe when they heard Hu Yener's words. The eyes of everyone from the Hu and Celestial race were also flickering. Their faces were filled with bewilderment and shock. Many of them knew a little about Hu Yener. She had been indifferent for decades. Everything had changed after she saved the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. Her entire life had undergone a huge change. So all of this is because of the Dragon King, the overlord of a region. It's possible for a powerful divine object to change a person's talent. Some people murmured as they looked at the Eternal Twin Foxes with sarcasm. The Dragon King had improved the strength and vitality of his fiancée, and now the Eternal Twin Foxes wanted to take it away? Not only that, but they also wanted to kill the Dragon King? Chapter 2206. 2206 2206 Divine Master, listen up. What a joke! At this moment, the way everyone looked at the eternal twin foxes changed. Damn it, no wonder the Dragon King said that the double fox Divine Master was not qualified to be Hu Yan'er's master. The eternal twin fox's disciples had assassinated him, but the double fox Divine Master did not care and made him Hu Yan'er's master? How was this possible? When God Master Twin Foxes heard Hu Yan'er's words, her face instantly turned extremely ugly. Her chest kept heaving up and down, and her face was filled with frost. Hu Yan'er's attitude had undoubtedly indicated that she would not acknowledge her as her master. She was the disciple of the God Master, but she had been rejected under the gaze of so many people. It could be imagined that after today, she would become the laughingstock of the entire endless star field. The eternal twin foxes were herself. This time, she had lost a lot of face. "Dragon King!" she growled in a low voice. Her eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. "Interesting. You people from the eternal twin foxes want to kill me. If you don't give me an explanation now, do you still want to make a move, Divine Lord Twin Foxes?" "Ha ha!" Wang Xian laughed maniacally when he heard her words. "Since that's the case, let's make a move!" Wang Xian waved his arm. His face was filled with a brutal expression. Boom! 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 In the next moment, all the members of the Dragon Palace behind him raised their weapons. A violent, murderous aura shot into the void. Roar! 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 In the sky, the dark, blazing, demonic dragon fixed his gaze on the twin foxes. His cold, dark pupils were filled with murderous aura. In an instant, waves of terror spread out in all directions. "Oh no!" The expressions of the major forces in the surrounding, western region, and central region changed drastically. They all hurriedly retreated to the rear. Their faces were filled with extreme fear. The strength of the Dragon Palace is so terrifying. There are at least 500 God Realm experts, and at least 9 of them are at the peak of the God Realm. Not all the experts of the Eternal Twin Foxes have arrived, but even so, they are no weaker than the Dragon Palace. If a fight breaks out, it will be a bloodbath. All the forces were shocked. If a fight broke out today, blood would flow for thousands of miles and the entire boundless star field would be shocked. Hua! 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 All the people of the Eternal Twin Foxes were shocked when they saw the experts of the Dragon Palace ready to fight. Hundreds of thousands of Eternal Twin Foxes' disciples instantly stood up and weapons appeared in their hands. They also stared at all the members of the Dragon Palace with incomparable solemnity. "Dragon King, I'm warning you. Take your people and get out of here now. Otherwise, I'll destroy your Dragon Palace." God Master Twin Fox's gaze swept across all the members of the Dragon Palace as she roared with a face full of killing intent. She was not afraid of the Dragon Palace at all. In fact, as long as she contacted Eternal Thunderclap of the Northern region, the god of Thunderclap would definitely agree to join forces. When the time came, it would be a piece of cake to destroy the Dragon Palace. As expected of the god of Twin Foxes. "You are still so arrogant and confident." Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly and stared at the god of Twin Foxes. His eyes were filled with coldness. "Think carefully. Don't infuriate me completely." The double fox deity and Wang Xian looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with coldness. If they were to really fight today, even if the eternal double fox were to win, they would definitely suffer heavy losses. It wasn't worth it to make a move. However, if they were forced to a certain extent, she wouldn't be afraid. As one of the overlords of the boundless galaxy, there was nothing to be afraid of. "In that case, aren't you going to give me an explanation for the assassination attempt by the eternal double fox?" Wang Xian asked her calmly. "Explanation? Ha ha, Dragon King, to put it bluntly, your Dragon Palace is not worthy of an explanation from the Eternal Twin Foxes. If you dare to fight us to the death, you will be the ones who will be annihilated." The Divine Master of the Twin Foxes stared at Wang Xian with confidence. This. Although the Dragon Palace was very strong, there was still a gap between them and the eternal twin foxes. Furthermore, the eternal thunderclap was their mortal enemy. If the eternal twin foxes were to join forces with the eternal thunderclap, it was very likely that the Dragon Palace would be annihilated. In fact, it's already not bad that the Dragon King was able to make the Divine Lord of Twin Foxes do this. If they were to really fight, the best outcome would be for both sides to suffer heavy losses. But in the future, the Dragon Palace would definitely be at a disadvantage. The eyes of everyone in the surroundings flickered as they spoke in a low voice. A battle between two overlords, a battle between two overlords. They could only be bystanders and were not qualified to step in. Are you not qualified? Wang Xian stared coldly at the Double Fox God. The Double Fox God also raised his head and stared at Wang Xian. HMPH, so what if you are the Dragon Palace? We, the Eternal Double Fox, are not afraid of anyone. Behind them, a group of Eternal Double Fox experts stared coldly at Wang Xian and shouted sternly. Wang Xian stood there indifferently, and didn't say anything. The atmosphere was extremely solemn. Every second seemed unusually long. When everyone saw the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace standing there quietly, they were slightly surprised. A few minutes had passed, but why didn't the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace have any reaction? What was he doing? What was he thinking? Dragon King, my patience is limited! When the Double Fox Deity Master saw Wang Xian standing there without saying a word, his face revealed his impatience. A staff appeared in his hand and his aura surged. Damn it, what? What is he trying to do? At this moment, the Tiger Emperor and Empress of the Godly Tiger Dynasty had extremely ugly expressions on their faces. When they saw the Double Fox Deity Master taking out his weapon, they were shocked. The outbreak of war would be a disastrous blow to them. This time, not only would they not be able to reap any benefits, they might even attract huge trouble. This made them extremely regretful. At the same time, they hated the Dragon King. Why didn't he reveal his identity earlier? Why did he make an enemy out of the Eternal Twin Foxes? I'm waiting for someone, but he's already here. Now prepare to die. Wang Xian suddenly smiled faintly and said to the God of Twin Foxes. The Double Fox Divine Master was slightly stunned. A terrifying killing intent slowly shot out from her eyes. You brought this upon yourself. Eternal Double Fox disciples, leave no one alive today. The Double Fox Divine Master let out a low growl and raised the divine staff in her hand. Leave no one alive! All the Eternal Double Fox experts let out a loud roar and gripped the weapons in their hands tightly. Boom! 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 Just as they finished speaking, a mighty aura suddenly came from the east. Roar! 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 Roars came one after another, and a terrifying pressure came crashing down from all directions. From afar, one could see ferocious creatures with 8 legs and 2 huge pincers flying over. Those terrifying creatures gave off a powerful aura, and there were more than 100,000 of them. In front of them was an incomparably huge, ferocious monster that gave off a terrifying aura. That's Lord Grim Dragon. It's Lord Grim Dragon from the Central Region. He's a new God Lord. Why is he here? When everyone saw the huge figures flying over and saw the ferocious monster at the front, their faces were filled with shock. The newly promoted God Lord in the Central Region was later known as the Grim Dragon God Lord. The announcement instantly spread throughout the boundless star field. His force was also known as the Grim Eternal Dragon, an existence that was even more powerful than the Dragon Palace. However, at this moment, some people suddenly remembered what the Dragon King had said just now. He was waiting for someone. Has he arrived? Everyone from the Eternal Twin Foxes looked toward the void in the east with surprise in their eyes. With such a vast aura, with such a huge fanfare, that Lord Grim Dragon had brought all of his subordinates. Boom! Boom! All of the creatures from the Eternal Twin Foxes covered a part of the sky. They stopped in the sky above the Twin Foxes' continent. Everyone raised their heads in astonishment. One! The figure of Lord Grim Dragon, who was giving off a terrifying aura at the very front, moved. He transformed into a human form and directly descended. Seeing another Lord God appear, everyone's faces were filled with confusion. Dragon Palace's AO Crab greets the Dragon King. Chapter 2207 2207 2207 Divine Lord 3 Dragon Palace AO Crab pays respect to Dragon King. The disciple of Lord Grim Dragon flew over and shocked everyone. But at this moment, everyone was stunned. The invincible Lord Grim Dragon turned into a middle-aged man and landed in front of the Dragon King. Dragon Palace AO Crab pays respect to Dragon King. These two words shocked everyone. Everyone stood there stiffly, their eyes slowly widening in disbelief and shock. This? Everyone in the Eternal Double Fox trembled as they looked at God Lord Longjing, who was kneeling in front of the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. Everyone's hearts were beating violently. The Double Fox expert who was ready to fight and destroy the entire Dragon Palace felt as if his neck was being held. My God, how could God Lord Longjing be a member of the Dragon Palace? AO Crab of the Dragon Palace! AO Crab of the Dragon Palace! God Lord Longjing is a disciple of the Dragon Palace and a subordinate of the Dragon King? Shock. Disbelief. Disbelief. A powerful new God Lord in the Central Region, a force that could contend with a 7-star God Lord, was actually a subordinate of the Dragon King. This God Lord Dragon Ferocity. When God Lord Double Fox saw this scene, her face changed dramatically, and her expression slowly became ugly. A God Lord, and the Dragon Palace actually had a God Lord. A devil dragon that could contend with the Thunder God Lord, a true God Lord. This force was almost comparable to 2 God Lords against their Eternal Double Fox. This caused her expression to change drastically. AO Crab's arrival had completely changed the situation of the battle. He could even completely crush the entire Eternal Twin Foxes. That was because AO Crab was able to fight against the God-level Twin Foxes alone. As for the rest, there was no need for anyone else to make a move. A demonic dragon could wreak havoc on the entire Eternal Twin Foxes. Listen up! Wang Xian looked at AO Crab in front of him and shouted softly. Roar! AO Crab immediately stood up and leaped into the air. He transformed into a terrifying devouring dragon. Listen to my orders! AO Crab roared furiously. The miniature devouring dragon behind him immediately appeared behind him. They were emitting a terrifying murderous aura. Their eyes were fixed on the Eternal Twin Foxes in front of them. Listen to my orders! The rest of the members of the Dragon Palace below also shouted loudly. Their faces were ice cold as they stared ahead. The battle was about to start. Dragon King, stop! Let's talk it out! Seeing this scene, the expression of the Double Fox God Lord changed drastically, and he hurriedly shouted. What, this? The Eternal Double Fox has surrendered! The Double Fox God Lord has actually surrendered this. The fierce Dragon God Lord is a member of the Dragon Palace, but he is the subordinate of the Dragon King. The gap between the Eternal Double Fox and the Dragon Palace is too big now. Some people said in a daze when they saw Master Evil Dragon give in. Master Evil Dragon was so domineering that she didn't put the Dragon King in her eyes even when she was facing the Dragon Palace. But now, with Master Evil Dragon's arrival, a newly promoted master listened to the Dragon King and gave in. If she didn't give in, everyone could predict the outcome. In the entire Eternal Twin Foxes, Master Twin Foxes might be able to escape, but everyone else would have to die. The foundation of the Eternal Twin Foxes for hundreds of thousands of years had been destroyed in an instant. Hee hee! Wang Xian stared coldly at Master Twin Foxes. His face was filled with mockery. When she saw Wang Xian's expression, Master Twin Fox's facial expression kept changing. Buzz. She stretched out her arm and grabbed at the back of the Eternal Twin Foxes. Buzz. No, 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 Lord God, please spare my life! Screams of pain rang out one after another. The Divine Fox Knight Divine Fox Howrant's body was directly grabbed over. At this moment, their faces were filled with fear as they shouted in despair. Bang! The Divine Fox Master gritted her teeth and stared at Wang Xian. Then, she waved her arm. The sounds of begging stopped abruptly. The two corpses were directly thrown in front of Wang Xian. Wang Xian looked at them indifferently. There was no change in his expression at all. He was still staring at the Double Fox Celestial Master expressionlessly. Dragon King, someone has harmed you. I, the Double Fox Celestial Master, will give you an explanation today. She gritted her teeth and waved the divine staff in her hand again. No, no, Grandma, don't. The Divine Fox, she whose face was extremely pale. She shouted at the Double Fox Celestial Master with a face full of fear. He was the grandson of a god lord and possessed immense power. Even the emperor of a dynasty could not compare to him. But now, he was extremely terrified. He knew that his grandmother might want to kill him in order to extinguish the Dragon King's anger and to protect the rest of the eternal twin foxes. Bang! The Double Fox God Lord did not show any mercy. With a heavy wave, the corpse of Celestial Fox Shihu landed in front of Wang Xian. The three of them were all turned into corpses. This was the explanation given by the Double Fox God Lord to Wang Xian. Hiss, this is an apology. When the other factions around saw this scene, they were filled with shock. When everyone from the Eternal Double Fox saw the three corpses, their eyes were filled with fear. They would never have thought that the Eternal Double Fox would have such a day. It's over, it's over! At this moment, the Tiger Emperor and Empress of the Divine Tiger Dynasty, who were beside the Eternal Twin Foxes, were trembling and their faces were pale. They had offended the Dragon King, so what would be the result? Even the grandson of the Divine Master of the Twin Foxes, the outstanding disciple of the Eternal Twin Foxes, had been killed, so what did they count as? How can the Dragon Palace be so strong? Why is he the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace? The Queen muttered in a low voice with a pale face. Her eyes were unfocused, and she seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Dragon King, this time, it's our Eternal Twin Fox's fault. I'll apologize to you personally. Seeing that Wang Xian was still staring at him calmly, the god of Twin Fox's expression changed as she spoke in a low voice. Don't you think it's a little too late? Wang Xian stared at her indifferently. Dragon King, don't push me too far. I admit that you can annihilate all of us, the Eternal Twin Foxes. However, there's a 100% chance that you won't be able to keep me here. As long as I'm still alive, if I were to join forces with Eternal Thunderclap, your Dragon Palace won't have a good ending either. The god of Twin Foxes growled in a low voice with a stern expression. I'm sorry. I'm not afraid of threats the least. You didn't give me an explanation just now. It's too late now. Wang Xian stared at the god of Twin Foxes with slight disdain and said in a cold voice, Dragon King! Upon hearing Wang Xian's words, the Double Fox Celestial Master roared with a mournful face. Her eyes turned extremely red in an instant. Prepare the members of the Dragon Palace. Leave no one alive! Wang Xian roared with a cold face. When he didn't have absolute power, the Double Fox Celestial Master didn't put him in her eyes. Now that Ao Crab had arrived, she had to admit defeat and beg him to forgive her. Was that possible? Furthermore, Wang Xian did not dare to guarantee that if he let them off this time, they would not join forces with Eternal Thunderclap. If he did not eradicate the root of the problem, he would have to pay the price. Boom! In an instant, his aura soared into the sky. The void changed color. The expressions of everyone around changed drastically. The Dragon King was about to make a move. Boom! 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 However, at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Chapter 2208 2208 2208 Divine Master 4 Rumble! Buzz, buzz, buzz! Just as all the members of the Dragon Palace were about to make their move, the Eternal Twin Fox disciples' faces were filled with fear and despair. Suddenly, a vast voice came from the fallen immortal island's divine tomb. A gray, earthy yellow energy dyed the area within 100 million kilometers. The heaven and earth resonated in unison. The congratulatory voice of the heaven and earth resounded in everyone's mind. At this moment, everyone's facial expression changed. They quickly looked in the direction of the tomb of the fallen immortal god island with their mouths slightly agape. Even Wang Xian was attracted by this vast aura. His eyes were filled with shock when he swept his gaze over. This is? Someone has advanced to the realm of the Eternal Lord. He had a look of astonishment on his face as he mumbled. Dragon King, someone has advanced to the realm of the Eternal Lord. Aohe and the dark raging demonic dragon looked over and spoke to Wang Xian. The Lord has been born. The double fox lord looked over and was also shocked. Recently, the Lord had been born frequently. The peaceful boundless galaxy had been broken. First, the rise of the Dragon Palace, then the birth of the ferocious Dragon Lord in the central region, and now, the birth of the Lord. All the heroes in the boundless galaxy have been divided. Someone must have obtained the inheritance of the divine tomb and advanced to a god lord, and the inheritance in the divine tomb has been obtained by someone else. Exclamations came from the surroundings, and everyone looked in the direction of the divine tomb in awe. Rumble! Ha 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 ha! Lifting up the eternal divine kingdom, comprehending the God Lord's law, and becoming a God Lord. Hurry up and get out of my eternal divine kingdom. Don't disturb this God who is so high and mighty. At this moment, an even more powerful roar sounded. Everyone saw the island in the center of the fallen immortal God Island slowly rise into the sky. The earthen yellow sacred light shone for tens of millions of kilometers. An excited voice suddenly came from within. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure surrounded by wood attribute energy flew out from within. The figure stared at the eternal kingdom that was being lifted up, his expression somewhat ugly. That is? The divine leaf god master of the eastern region. Could it be that he had a conflict with the newly promoted god master? When some people saw this scene, their faces were filled with astonishment. 111! At this moment, in the sky, the main island of the fallen immortal God Island was suspended in the sky. Below the God Island, a figure that was over 10,000 meters tall stood between heaven and earth. The gray figure around him was like a towering divine mountain. Around him, a shield that was like a city wall was slowly rotating around him. What a terrifying aura! Everyone felt the terrifying aura of the giant, and their faces were filled with shock. That is... Suddenly, an elder from the forces near the eternal double foxes in the double foxes continent square suddenly widened his eyes and stared at the towering figure in the sky. Yes, that's right, that's right! The elder stared at the towering figure in the sky with excitement. His body trembled violently. Ha ha, it's Fei Yang. That's right, it's Fei Yang. He obtained the inheritance of a god lord, and he actually became a god lord. Our Chen clan is going to rise up, our celestial clan is going to rise up. An elder beside him stood up and roared with excitement. Around him, the faces of hundreds of clansmen were also flushed with excitement. They had never expected that their clansman's disciple would obtain the inheritance of the divine tomb and become an eternal god lord. Once he became a god lord, their clan would soar into the sky. What? It's the Chen clan? That Lord God Lord is a member of the Chen clan. All the forces around the plaza of the Twin Fox continent turned to look at the old man when they heard his words. Their faces were filled with envy. Eh? Everyone from the eternal Twin Fox clan also turned to look at the Chen clan. Lord God Lord, that Chen clan is a force of our western region. It belongs to a small clan affiliated to our eternal Twin Fox clan. At this moment, an expert at the peak of the eternal Twin Fox divine realm flew in front of God Lord Twin Fox, and said with a face full of hope. As he spoke, he looked in the direction of the Dragon Palace. His eyes were filled with coldness. Oh? God Lord Twin Fox was slightly stunned. A glimmer of light and hope flashed in his eyes. Now that the eternal Twin Fox clan was in a desperate situation, if they did not have a powerful helper, their eternal twin fox clan would definitely bleed like a river. Friends of the Chin clan, let your celestial disciples help us, the eternal twin foxes. We will give you half of the western region. In addition, we, the eternal twin foxes, are willing to form an alliance with you and help you nurture your disciples. God Lord Twin Foxes immediately spoke to the Chin clan. Oh? This? Everyone from the Chin clan suddenly heard God Lord Twin Fox's words, and their eyes flashed with excitement. Give half of the western region to them. This was an incomparably terrifying amount of resources. It could allow their Chin clan to soar to the skies. Lord God Lord Twin Fox, we can't make this decision. We still need Fei Yang to personally decide. However, we will try our best to persuade him. After all, the western region is our home. The Chin clan's patriarch suppressed the excitement in his heart as he spoke. Even God Master Twin Fox called them friends. Rise, truly rise, and soar to the sky. Good! God Master Twin Fox's eyes also shone with hope. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to drag this newly promoted God Master into his camp. Otherwise, the entire eternal Twin Fox would be doomed. As long as you drag him into your camp and combine with Eternal Thunderclap, even if you have two existences that can fight against God Master, we can still destroy you. Dragon Palace, just you wait. The face of the Master God of Twin Foxes was filled with a cold glint. The humiliation today could only be resolved by destroying the entire Dragon Palace. Dragon King, should we make a move? When everyone in the Dragon Palace heard the conversation from the Eternal Twin Foxes, they frowned slightly and asked immediately. No need! Wang Xian looked at the towering figure in the sky and revealed a faint smile. This fellow, could he be the chosen one of the boundless star field? The chosen one? He mumbled. Boom! 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 At this moment, the earth-colored divine energy that covered a radius of billions of miles gushed towards the towering figure that was tens of thousands of meters tall. In just a short span of 10 seconds, the earth elemental energy was completely infused into his body. Boom! The eternal divine kingdom in the void released an intense divine light, shining brightly in the world. Ha ha ha! I am just a speck of dust, but the heavens want me to stand high above and look down on all living things. Today, I am the eternal God Lord, the title, Mountain. A vast voice resounded throughout the sky, representing the birth of an eternal God Lord. Representing the birth of an overlord in the boundless star field. From then on, it stood high above, invincible in the boundless region. The title, Mountain God Lord. Chapter 2209 2209 2209 God Lord, listen up. Mountain! Mountain God Lord! The God Lord was born. At this moment, millions of people on the fallen immortal God Island looked at the Mountain God Lord in the sky. His towering body and powerful aura made him look like a god who could stand tall. He stood proudly in the sky. Everyone took a deep breath, and their faces were filled with reverence. Fei Yang! In the sky above the Twin Fox continent, everyone from the Chin clan revealed extremely excited expressions. Their bodies moved, and they immediately flew towards the towering figure in the sky. The Mountain God Lord who was standing in the sky turned his head over, and a faint smile appeared on his face. His body shrunk, and an incomparably mystical earthen yellow shield surrounded him. Looking at the celestial race's people, he slightly raised his head and walked. Greetings, Lord Mountain God Lord! Some celestial race's disciples respectfully greeted Mountain God Lord. Father! He swept his gaze over and lightly nodded his head. Looking at his father and the others, a trace of a smile appeared on his face. Good, good. Fei Yang, God Lord, you actually became a God Lord! An old man quickly walked over, his face filled with excitement. Fei Yang, the eternal Twin Foxes have encountered some trouble. God Lord Twin Foxes said that if you help them get through this crisis, he will agree to give us half of the northern region. Also, help us nurture disciples and form an alliance with us. At this moment, The Qin clan's patriarch walked over and spoke to God Lord Mountain with a face full of enthusiasm. His face was full of anticipation. Oh? Half of the western region? Mountain God Lord was slightly stunned, and his eyes were also shining. Yes, now the eternal twin foxes have provoked a powerful force. The other party has a God Lord, an existence that can contend against a God Lord. I reckon that as long as you appear, you might be able to resolve the eternal twin foxes' crisis without even needing to act. When that time comes, the Qin clan's clan leader spoke with a face full of hope. Mountain God Lord, as long as you are willing to help us, the compensation that our eternal twin foxes have paid will definitely be to your satisfaction. On the eternal twin foxes' continent's plaza, Twin Fox God Lord stared at him and spoke. Oh? Is that so? He moved slightly and looked towards the plaza. This is? Suddenly, when he saw the figure standing in the square, his pupils contracted slightly. His face changed and he flew straight towards the direction of the Double Fox continent. Feiyang has agreed! Seeing Qin Feiyang flying over, the chief of the Qin clan revealed an excited look. After today, the Qin clan would rule half of the western region and control nearly 100 life planets. Ha ha ha, everyone from the Dragon Palace, our eternal Qin clan used to be a subordinate force of the eternal twin foxes. Today, our eternal Qin clan's disciples have advanced to the God Lord realm. Give us face for the eternal twin foxes. The Qin clan's patriarch followed closely behind Mountain God Lord and said with a loud laugh. Mountain God Lord, who was flying in front of them, paused for a moment. His face turned a little black and he almost cursed out loud. He sped up slightly. Eternal Dust Clan? There are disciples of the Qin clan who have reached the God Lord realm. They are indeed qualified to be called Eternal Dust Clan. They used to be a subordinate force of the Eternal Twin Foxes. Are they going to join forces with the Eternal Twin Foxes? It's very possible. After all, they are all forces of the Western region. And the Eternal Twin Foxes have promised such a generous reward. Now, the Eternal Twin Foxes are saved. If the Dragon King wants to destroy the Eternal Twin Foxes' disciples, he'll have to think about it. When the surrounding forces saw the newly promoted Mountain God Lord flying over, they were all shocked. Their eyes flickered as they discussed. We're saved! We're saved! Once we join forces with the Mountain God Lord, we'll join forces with Eternal Thunderclap in the future. We'll make the Dragon Palace pay a heavy price. The disciples of the Eternal Twin Foxes looked desperate just a moment ago. Now, they were extremely excited when they saw this scene. They would definitely make the Mountain God Lord pay 10 times the price for today's humiliation. Phew! Seeing the Mountain God Lord flying toward them, the Twin Foxes' God Lord also let out a slight sigh of relief. However, what happened next shocked everyone. The Mountain Deity Master, who was flying towards the plaza of the Double Fox continent, headed straight for his seat. He landed in front of the Dragon Palace, and in front of the Dragon King. Hee, Qin Feiyang pays his respects to the Dragon King. Qin Feiyang landed in front of Wang Xian. His body was half kneeling, and his face was filled with smiles. You are really the son of fate. Wang Xian looked at him and commented with a smile. Hee, that's because I have benefited from the Dragon King. Qin Feiyang stood up with a smile and stood at the side respectfully. Where's Mingxin? He asked Qin Feiyang. Mingxin is in the Eternal Divine Kingdom. I have not mistreated her at all, Qin Feiyang said hurriedly. With a wave of his arm, a black hole appeared in front of him. Teacher! Lu Mingxin walked out from the black hole. She was slightly taken aback. When she saw Wang Xian, she immediately called out respectfully. It's good that you're alright. It's time to go back and take a look. Wang Xian nodded and said to her. It's teacher. Feiyang has leveled up to the God Lord realm this time. I'll bring him back to see brother and master. Lu Mingxin immediately nodded her head. This? He was stunned. Completely stunned. Not just everyone around him, not just the Eternal Twin Foxes. Even the Qin clan's patriarch, who had just said that he wanted the Dragon Palace to give him face, was stunned. At this moment, his face was full of cold sweat. What was he trying to do? Qin Feiyang, who had just advanced to the God Lord realm, actually bowed respectfully to the Dragon King and stood aside respectfully. He was obviously a little brother. His words just now were like asking his big brother to give his little brother some face. Fuck. This new God Lord actually has a relationship with the Dragon King, and it seems that this is a good little brother of the Dragon King. Oh my god, this is the second God Lord. AO Crab is a member of the Dragon Palace, and now this Mountain God Lord is also the Dragon King's little brother. Is this going to cut off the Eternal Twin Fox's way of life? Now, with the power of the Dragon Palace, even if the Eternal Twin Foxes and the Eternal Thunderclap were to join forces, they would not be a match for the Dragon Palace. The Dragon King is simply too terrifying. Shocked voices came from all around. At this moment, the Eternal Twin Fox's disciples were completely confused. Now, they could not even tell north from south. How was this possible? At this moment, something strange happened again. A surprised voice came from the void and entered everyone's mind. Master Shinai! Some people realized that Master Shinai had appeared in the void without them knowing. This gave them a slight shock. Wang Xian sensed this voice and raised his head to look. Brother Shinai! He looked over and shouted in astonishment. Little brother Wang Xian, haha! The god of Shinai swept his shocked gaze across all his subordinates around Wang Xian and flew towards him with a loud laugh. Chapter 2210. 2210 was the beginning. Big brother Shinai? Little brother Wang Xian? Everyone was stunned as they listened to the way they addressed him. The appearance of AO Crab had already shocked everyone. There was a mutation. In the end, the Mountain God Lord appeared out of nowhere and turned out to be the Dragon King's little brother. This left them extremely dumbfounded. Now, the mutation had reappeared. The Divine Lord Shinai of the East had also appeared. In the end, the Dragon King addressed him as Big Brother Divine Leaves and the Divine Leaf Master as Little Brother Wang Xian. Just from the way they addressed each other, one could tell that the relationship between the two of them was definitely not shallow. There were already two Divine Masters by the Dragon King's side. One of them was in existence comparable to a Divine Master, and now there was another Divine Leaf Master? Cough. The Dragon King actually addressed the Divine Leaf Master as Big Brother? What kind of relationship do they have? If I were the disciple of the Eternal Twin Foxes, I would be scared to death right now. My heart is not good. My goodness, is this the power of the Dragon King? Is this the power of the Dragon Palace? This is too terrifying. Who can withstand this? 4 God Lords. There were only 5 God Lords in the entire boundless starfield before. Now, the Dragon King has called 4. Everyone widened their eyes in shock. Just as they had said, if they were the disciples of the Eternal Twin Foxes, they would have peed their pants in fear. Who could withstand this? No one could. It was too terrifying. Little brother Wang Xian, what are you doing? Do you need my help? The Divine Leaf Master landed beside Wang Xian. His gaze swept across the Eternal Twin Foxes. He narrowed his eyes slightly and asked with a smile. Brother Shinai, prepare to destroy a God Lord and the forces of an Eternal God Lord. Wang Xian looked at him and replied with a smile on his face. Because of Hua and Kair, his relationship with God Lord Shinai could be said to be very good. As long as there were 2 girls around, the Dragon Palace and Dongfang Shinai would be allies. It's not easy to kill a God Lord. A God Lord can return to his eternal divine kingdom in an instant. If you want to kill a God Lord, you have to be prepared. However, if I team up with a few of your subordinates, it shouldn't be a problem. The Divine Leaf God Lord said with a smile. Just now, when he saw the power around Wang Xian, he was extremely shocked. The demonic dragon in the sky was exuding an extremely terrifying aura. He could clearly sense that this was an existence that could contend against the God Lord. He had heard of another ferocious God Lord. It should be God Lord Long Zhen. As for the mountain God Lord, who had clashed with him just now, there was no doubt about his strength. For years ago, the power that he could easily destroy had grown to this stage. Even the current eternal divine leaf couldn't withstand a single blow from the Dragon Palace. This made him extremely absent-minded. He recalled what his two daughters often said. Soon, old Wang would catch up to him and surpass the eternal divine leaf. He had scoffed, and even felt jealous. The appearance of the Dragon Palace a few months ago had already shocked him. Now, it had completely surpassed him. Now that they had joined forces with the Dragon King, they could basically run amok in the boundless star field. Whether it was because of their daughter or because of the Dragon Palace's strength, it was worth it to help them deal with the God Lord. Gulp! When everyone heard their conversation, their faces were filled with shock and fear. What were they talking about? They were talking about the God-exterminating Lord. If word got out, perhaps no one would dare to believe it. God-exterminating Lord? But looking at the East Eternal Divine Leaf's God Lord, the Dragon Palace's Dragon King's Devil Dragon, the fierce Dragon God Lord, and the Mountain God Lord. Just as the Divine Leaf God Lord had said, it shouldn't be a big problem to destroy a God Lord. Is this the foundation that the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace dares to look down on the Double Fox God Lord? Some people murmured. What happened today was unbelievable. The Dragon King was too strong. The eternal Double Fox is going to die, and the Double Fox God Lord is also going to die. Everyone thought in their hearts and looked extremely dazed. Brother Wang Xian! Hu Yan'er had been standing beside Wang Xian the entire time. She watched as the God Lords addressed Wang Xian as Dragon King. She felt a little dreamy as she watched the Divine Master Dongfang Xinai address him as a brother. This was the young man whom she had saved back then. This was her fiancé? This? When everyone from the Divine Tiger Dynasty saw this scene, they were all trembling in fear. Was this the young man that they said wasn't worthy of Hu Yan'er? With such a force, who in the entire boundless star area wasn't worthy of him? No, it should be said that in the entire boundless star area, who was worthy of the Dragon King? Our Divine Tiger Dynasty is going to be finished. I regret it so much. At this moment, the Tiger Emperor and the Empress had ashen faces. Their ending was already destined. The Dragon King was so powerful. In the end, even if the Dragon King did not speak, some of his subordinates, who wanted to curry favor with the Dragon King, would destroy their Divine Tiger Dynasty. They were extremely regretful. If they had chosen the Dragon King back then and gotten close to him, they might have achieved great things in the near future. Huff huff! The breathing of the Double Fox God Lord was a little hurried. He stared at Wang Xian and the rest, and his body was trembling. Behind him, everyone from the Eternal Dual Foxes was trembling. The difference was too great. Get ready! At this moment, a cold voice rang out. This voice represented judgment. All the disciples of the Eternal Dual Foxes raised their heads in despair. They had lost their will to fight. Buzz. If you want to kill me, even if I die, I will drag one of you down with me. Seeing the four masters locking onto her, a blood-red glow appeared in the eyes of the Dual Fox God. Today, destroy the Eternal Dual Foxes. Today, destroy the God. Wang Xian stared at the Dual Fox God, raised his arms slowly, and shouted loudly. Today, destroy the Eternal Dual Foxes. Today, destroy the God. 2 orders were transmitted to the ears of everyone around the fallen Immortal Island's God tomb. At this moment, everyone was moved. This was the Dragon King. Roar, roar, roar! Roar, roar, roar! With 2 roars, Dark Thunder and Ao Crab did not hesitate at all. Their bodies moved and instantly attacked God Lord Double Fox. Die! God Lord Double Fox roared with a ferocious face. He did not care whether it would affect the disciples behind him or not. The divine staff released destructive energy. Ha ha! I, Qin Feiyang, am the chosen one. Today, I will experience it for myself. Qin Feiyang did not hesitate at all when he saw Ao Crab and the others attack. His entire body instantly turned into a 10,000-meter-long body. Withered tree! God Lord Divine Leaf did not fall behind either. A resplendent divine staff appeared in his hand. Tenacious yellow branches drilled out from the ground. In an instant, this kind of withered wood covered the entire Twin Fox continent. The might of a God Lord could destroy the world. The 4 God Lords directly attacked the Twin Fox God Lord. All. At this moment, because the Twin Fox God Lord didn't care about the disciples of the Eternal Twin Foxes, the moment the God Lord's battle erupted, they were affected. Miserable screams sounded. The prelude to the destruction of the Eternal Twin Foxes was drawn. Chapter 2211 2211 The Fall of a God Lord. They're fighting! Hiss! Retreat! Retreat! Everyone retreat! A God Lord level battle began. When all the forces in the sky saw this scene, their faces were filled with shock. They hurriedly retreated to the surroundings. Such a level of battle could affect a radius of tens of millions of kilometers. Everyone on the Double Fox continent flew out frantically. Retreat! Wang Xian also moved and brought Hu Yan out with him. A group of members from the Dragon Palace followed closely behind. Brother Wang Xian, my father and brother! Hu Yan looked at the horrifying battle that broke out in an instant and looked in the direction of the foxes in the middle of the square in panic. Ao Jian, Ao Qitian, Ao Xingmu, bring some people to bring the members of the fox pattern celestial race here. Wang Xian immediately ordered. It's the Dragon King! The group of peak divine realm experts from the Dragon Palace did not hesitate at all. They moved and flew directly toward the group of the fox pattern celestial race. Fox pattern celestial race, let's go! Ao Jian and the rest flew over. With a wave of their arms, streams of energy surrounded them. Go, go, go now! Seeing the experts of the Dragon Palace coming to pick them up, all the members of the Fox Pattern Divine Clan shouted at once. At this moment, countless withered trees appeared on the ground of the Double Fox continent. The energy of the God Lord level was wreaking havoc in the surroundings. Being in the Double Fox continent was like being in hell. One could be affected by a wave of energy at any time. In the surroundings, only the disciples of the Divine Tiger Dynasty and the eternal Double Fox of the Fox Pattern Divine Clan had left early. Quick, quick, let's leave this place as well! The Tiger Emperor and Empress of the Divine Tiger Dynasty glanced at the center and walked out in horror. They did not even care about the members of the Divine Tiger Dynasty around them. Those are the experts of the Dragon Palace. Kill them! Kill them! The Eternal Twin Fox's disciples who were constantly dodging the attacks from the center looked at them with fear and malevolence. They were like evil ghosts in hell, crazily attacking Ao Jian and the others. A group of people who are about to die. How dare they attack our members of the Dragon Palace? Suddenly, the voice of the dark infernal dragon sounded in the sky, and a huge black dragon clawed at the Eternal Twin Fox experts. The destructive power instantly made the Eternal Twin Fox experts let out miserable screams. Run! We'll only die here! Some of the Eternal Twin Fox disciples saw this scene and shouted with faces full of panic. They lost the ability to resist and frantically fled in all directions. Ha ha ha, you want to escape? The sky is round and the earth is square. In the sky, a vast voice sounded out as a huge pair of legs stepped on the ground. Boom! 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 In the next moment, a wall rose up from the originally square land around the Twin Fox continent. The thick and impenetrable city wall was more than 100,000 meters tall, and it enveloped everyone within. The Twin Fox Godlord, who was in the center, was also completely enveloped within. Oh no, the energy of the Godlords in the sky is wreaking havoc, and the surroundings are surrounded by the terrifying city wall. We're finished. Oh, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. All the Eternal Twin Fox disciples roared in fear. They used to be nobles of the endless star field. They were all high and mighty. They hadn't lived long enough. But they, the twin fox god lords, didn't have the ability to save them. She couldn't even protect herself. Ayo, ayo! The twin fox god lords' faces were filled with malevolence, and a berserk expression appeared on their faces. Her body moved, and she immediately transformed into a double-tailed divine fox that was nearly 10,000 meters in size. An emerald green foxtail and a fiery red foxtail gave off a terrifying might. Wood burning! She let out a wild roar, and beams of burning heavenly wood shot towards God Lord Divine Leaf, Qin Feiyang, Ao Crab, and the dark blazing black dragon. The air began to explode, and a terrifying attack shot into the sky. Let me do it! Qin Feiyang shouted, and earthen yellow shields appeared in front of the burning heavenly wood. Bang! 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 An explosive collision was heard. Dead wood bind! At this moment, countless dead wood flew toward God Lord Double Fox from the ground. The dead wood gathered in the air, and soon, there were 10 dead wood, each one 100 meters thick, flying toward God Lord Double Fox. Get lost! God Lord Twin Fox swung his fiery red foxtail and struck at the withered trees. Boom! 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 Flames flew in all directions. Spring comes to the withered trees! One by one, the withered trees were ignited. God Lord Divine Leaf waved the divine staff in his hand, and the withered trees instantly turned emerald green, extinguishing the flames. Whoosh! 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 10 withered trees wrapped around God Lord Twin Fox's body. Roar! 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 Aosia and the dark blazing demonic dragon attacked God Master Double Fox from both sides of the sky. The terrifying dragon claws directly clawed at her body. Roar! Roar! God Master Double Fox's face was filled with a ferocious roar. She raised her head and spat out 2 balls of flames at them. Bang! 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 However, her body was temporarily restrained. It was not so easy for her to block the attacks of 2 experts of the same level. Pum pum! The dragon claws clawed at her body, and the terrifying power directly left deep wounds on her body. In an instant, blood splattered everywhere. 4 eternal god masters attacking one. The suppressive force is too strong. They are all of the same level. It's very, very difficult to fight 4 of them one-on-one. The disciples of the eternal twin foxes in the surrounding area, under the terrifying aftermath, even peak god realm experts couldn't resist. In the surrounding void space, everyone was shocked when they saw the battle on the twin foxes continent. All the disciples of the eternal twin foxes died in the shockwaves. Even the peak of the god realm couldn't resist the shockwaves. The twin fox's god lord was instantly suppressed when she faced 4 people of the same level. Although she had 2 attributes, she only controlled the flame law. She was suppressed too much. Gulp! The Tiger Emperor and Empress who had escaped from the Double Fox continent saw the scene below and felt their scalps go numb. The invincible Double Fox Divine Master was injured in an instant. They had wanted to curry favor with the Double Fox Divine Master, but now... Pooh! Suddenly, a bloody scar appeared on the Tiger Emperor's neck. His body stiffened, and his eyes widened as he looked stiffly in the direction of the Dragon Palace. Ah! At the side, she sensed a horrifying scream from the Empress, and quickly dodged to the side. Buzz! At this moment, Ao Jian and Ao Qitian appeared in front and behind her. Ao Yao was hiding in the void, waiting for an opportunity to move. Without the order of the Dragon Palace, Ao Yao and Ao Jian knew who deserved to die and who didn't. It's the Tiger Emperor of the Divine Tiger Dynasty. He was instantly assassinated by the experts of the Dragon Assassin Organization. The experts of the Dragon Palace want to kill the Empress. Chapter 2212 2212 Divine Lord was killed, the world was shocked. In the void next to the Double Fox continent, everyone heard the Empress scream and immediately looked in that direction. Seeing the Tiger Emperor who was assassinated, everyone was shocked. Aojian and Aochitian locked their eyes on the Empress of the Divine Tiger Dynasty, and their eyes were full of killing intent. The Empress stood in the middle and stared at Aojian and Aochitian with fear written all over her face. What? The disciples of the Divine Tiger Dynasty and the fox-patterned divine race looked over and saw the two experts of the Dragon Palace and the slain Tiger Emperor. Their hearts pounded violently. Save me! Save me! At this moment, even though the Empress was at the peak of the divine realm, she still turned to Hu Fei, Hu Yaoguang, and Hu Yen-er of the fox-patterned divine race and pleaded for help. Yen-er, plead on my behalf. I'm the clan leader of the Huan clan. I'm a member of the Huan clan. Cries for help came out of her mouth as she shouted in despair. You have to pay a price for offending U.S. Dragon Kings. Aojian stared at her coldly without any emotion. Although it was true that the Empress was a member of the Huan clan, what she had done was enough to kill her. Hearing the words of the experts from the Dragon Palace, Hu Fei, Hu Yaoguang, and the others opened their mouths and finally turned their heads to the side. Hu Yan looked over and frowned slightly. She turned her head and did not speak. She had a good impression of the Empress at first, but later on, she realized that the Empress was doing it for her own selfish desires. The other experts from the Huan celestial race trembled and lowered their heads without saying a word. Come to think of it, they were also accomplices. Back then, they had mocked the Dragon King. Back then, they had released news saying that the Dragon King was not worthy of their fox-patterned divine race's Huyen-er. Now? Not worthy? The Dragon King was able to order 4 God Lord level existences to surround and kill the double fox God Lord. Was this kind of existence something that the Tiger Emperor and Empress could provoke? Death was their end. No one felt that there was anything wrong with it. The experts from the surrounding forces glanced over, their eyes filled with mockery. If the Divine Tiger Dynasty had chosen to stand on the Dragon King's side back then, the outcome would have been completely different. In the future, the entire Divine Tiger Dynasty would soar into the sky. Now, it might not be long before the Divine Tiger Dynasty ceased to exist. Kill! Aojian shouted in a low voice, and the Heartless Sword Principal instantly attacked the Empress. Aochitian, who was on the opposite side, did not hesitate at all. The metal rod in his hand violently smashed down. 20 seconds later, a miserable cry sounded. The Divine Tiger Dynasty's Empress had died. However, at this time, the death of the Divine Tiger Dynasty's Tiger Emperor and Empress was already insignificant in the eyes of the surrounding people. Today, more than a dozen peak Divine Realm experts of the Eternal Twin Foxes had already died. Well, the Qin clan celestial race pays their respects to the Dragon King. Dragon King, it's my fault for being insensible. I've offended you just now. At the side, the Qin clan's patriarch trembled when he saw the Divine Tiger Dynasty's Empress being killed. His expression changed as he walked towards the Dragon King. His face was filled with humility. When he thought of how he had asked the Dragon King to give face to their eternal Qin clan, his brows twitched non-stop. He was simply too arrogant. A group of Qin clan's disciples followed behind with an awkward look on their faces. It's all right. We're all on the same side. Wan Xian looked at them and smiled. Thank you, Dragon King, for your magnanimity. Thank you, Dragon King, for your magnanimity. Upon hearing Wan Xian's words, they heaved a heavy sigh of relief and wiped the cold sweat off their foreheads with a smile. They sneaked a glance at Lu Mingxin and waved at her. Mingxin, what's your relationship with the Dragon King? And Feiyang? Why didn't we hear your reminder? Qin Feiyang's father asked in astonishment. Father, the Dragon King and the Dragon Queen saved Feiyang's life. My brother is the Dragon King's only disciple and my master is the Dragon Queen. Lu Mingxin said with a smile. I see. I see. Good, good, good. Hearing Lu Mingxin's words, everyone in the Qin clan was excited. With this relationship, the Qin clan would be able to stand tall in the endless star area. Roar! 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 Crack! 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 Right at this moment, loud explosions echoed. The twin fox continent in front of them slowly collapsed under everyone's shocked eyes. The continent within a radius of tens of millions of kilometers could not withstand their destructive power at all. God-Lord Twin Fox floated in the void covered in blood. She bared her teeth and stared at the four people around her, including God-Lord Divine Leaf, Ao Crab, Unlai, and Qin Fei Yang. Her expression was incomparably savage. Her two enormous tails swayed in the void. Surrender without a fight. We might leave you with a complete corpse. We are still kinder. Ao, he stared at Double Fox with his cold eyes and said mockingly. The four of them locked their eyes on Double Fox. There were pieces of rocks floating around them, and the entire space was filled with all kinds of powerful energy. Ha ha ha, it's not that easy to kill a God Master. Eternal Divine Leaf, Dragon Palace, just you wait. I, Double Fox God Master, will be your enemy for the rest of my life, and you will never have peace. Double Fox Divine Master roared at them crazily with a mournful face. You stay here and keep him busy. I will go to her eternal divine kingdom. Divine Leaf Divine Master frowned slightly when she heard her words. She immediately transmitted her voice to Ao Crab and the others. Okay, then I will have to trouble Divine Leaf Divine Master. We cannot let her escape. Ao Crab and the others nodded. The Eternal God Master was different from the godly state experts. Upon reaching the Eternal God Master level, one could instantly return to their eternal divine kingdom. If one wanted to kill him, one had to enter his eternal divine kingdom and completely wipe him out. However, some eternal God Masters would place their divine kingdoms in abnormally secret places. As long as they did not find their eternal God Master, they could hardly kill him. The eternal divine kingdom of God Master Twin Fox was located in the center of the eternal Twin Fox. God Master Sheena wanted to lock onto her eternal divine kingdom in advance to prevent her from escaping. Kill! Aohi and the others roared and directly attacked God Master Twin Fox. Although God Master Twin Fox was a veteran God Master, even Aohi alone could suppress her. This was the power of the devouring dragon bloodline. It's very difficult to kill a God Lord. This God Lord is probably going to escape. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in Wang Xian's mind. Oh? Wang Xian was slightly stunned. A ray of light flashed across his eyes. Old thing, spit it out. His eyes flashed as he transmitted his voice to the voice in his mind. Huff, huff, huff. I'm so angry. I'm the Void God Emperor, yet I'm being berated by a little god like you. The Tianqing God Emperor's face was flushed red as he growled in a low voice from within the uninitiated holy wings that were retracted behind Wang Xian's back. However, he did not dare to say it out loud after witnessing this brat's temper. Furthermore, he wanted this brat to witness his abilities. Chapter 2213 2213 2213 The Loss of the Divine Lord. Once a cultivator cultivates to the realm of Eternal Divine Lord, they will be able to merge with the Eternal Divine Kingdom. With just a little time, they will be able to return to the Divine Kingdom. Unless the Immortal King makes a move and uses his immortal domain to sever the connection, or if they are in a special space. It will be difficult for your four subordinates and friends to kill the two Fox Divine Lords. Once they escape, they will immediately flee with the Eternal Divine Kingdom. The Tianqing Celestial Emperor sat in the illusory space of the incipient Saint Wings and transmitted his voice to Wang Xian in a bad mood. He wanted to gain the trust of this fellow now. Otherwise, he would be trapped here forever. You have a way? Wang Xian's eyes sparkled when he heard his words. Wang Xian had some understanding of the Eternal Lord. Apart from controlling the laws, the Eternal Lord also had a powerful ability to escape. That was to be able to return to his divine kingdom in an instant. This was also the reason why the Eternal God Lord would leave behind the divine tomb. He was not sure if the dual Fox God Lord would escape. Once he did, it would indeed be a bigger problem. I am a mighty divine emperor. Naturally, I have my ways. If I were still at my peak, I would be able to kill such an existence with one hand. I wouldn't even need to use the formation. The God Emperor of Heaven's formation's voice entered his mind. All right, stop bragging. Don't you know what you are like now? Don't you know what you are doing? Wang Xian said to him calmly. If you have a way, tell me quickly. Huff! Huff! An angry voice entered Wang Xian's mind. Kid, although I am only a soul now, as long as you give me some spirit stones and treasures, I can still set up a simple formation. Tianqing God Emperor said proudly. Roar! Roar! Just you wait, just you wait. Eternal Divine Leaf, Dragon Palace, you will live in the nightmare of my twin foxes in the future. Suddenly, an extremely shrill voice sounded in front of them. Flame flowers shot into the void one after another. The flame flowers were extremely terrifying, like world-extinguishing sparks. This is the flame law she has comprehended. Be careful! Ao Crab immediately warned loudly. He raised his head, and his entire ferocious head suddenly enlarged. The terrifying dragon head of the devouring dragon turned into 100 kilometers long, and it devoured the world-extinguishing sparks one by one. So terrifying! When everyone saw this scene, a look of shock appeared on their faces. This was the first time that everyone present had seen an eternal God Master fighting with his life on the line. I will come back and look for you. The voice of the eternal twin foxes sounded as her figure slowly became illusory. We can't let him leave! Chen Feiyang and the dark raging devil dragon's expressions changed slightly as they roared loudly. Divine Leaf God Master was currently heading towards the eternal twin foxes and had yet to arrive. Once she returned, she might be able to use the Eternal Kingdom to flee. You can't stop me. Remember what I said. Her face was extremely ferocious, and her blood-red eyes emitted terrifying words. Wang! In the next moment, her body directly disappeared. Oh no! Qin Feiyang and the others' expressions slightly changed when they saw this scene. This guy saw God Master Shinai leave and guessed that she should be going to her eternal divine kingdom. Anlai also sank slightly. She escaped. Double Fox God Master actually escaped. Once she escaped, a God Master would launch a sneak attack. Even the Dragon Palace and Eternal Divine Leaf wouldn't be able to hold on. She could escape under the siege of so many people of the same level. Is this the power of the Eternal God Master? When everyone saw the Double Fox God leaving, they were all shocked. When Wang Xian saw this scene, he also frowned slightly. Do you have any ideas? Wang Xian frowned and transmitted his voice to the God of Formation. Hee hee kid, now you know how to look for me. The God of Formation smiled smugly. Do you have any divine artifacts? Any divine artifact is fine. Take 5 of them and some spirit stones. However, he didn't slack off and immediately spoke up. All right. Wang Xian nodded his head and spoke to Prime Minister Gui. Dragon King! Soon, 5 divine artifacts were floating in front of Wang Xian. There were even supreme-grade spirit stones beside them. Supreme-grade spirit stones are barely enough. I might be exhausted after performing this move. You have to remember my kindness and be more respectful when you speak to me in the future. As the Tianqing God Emperor spoke, the divine weapon in front of him spun and formed a circle. Top-grade spirit stones landed in the middle and a unique rhythm was transmitted from the void. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with astonishment. Although he knew about arrays, he had never seen a truly powerful array master before. This old man claimed to be the Void God Emperor and the Tianqing God Emperor. That meant that he had terrifying attainments in arrays. Dragon King, let that fellow escape. We will chase after him immediately. With the help of God Lord Shinai, we should be able to take him down. At this moment, Aohe and the rest flew over and said to Wang Xian. Wang Xian waved his hand at them, indicating for them to keep quiet. Buzz. When the spiritual stones landed in the middle of the divine weapon, they seemed to be attacked by a terrifying force and were destroyed immediately. Slowly, the 5 divine weapons also collapsed rapidly. What is the Dragon King doing? I don't know. The divine weapons actually collapsed one by one. What kind of force is this? When the surrounding people saw the situation on Wang Xian's side, they were shocked. Buzz. Slowly, a black hole appeared in the void. This is the Void Enemy Hunting Formation. Through the blood of the Double Fox God Lord, we can lock on to the location of his eternal divine kingdom. Through this black hole, we can instantly reach the sky above his eternal kingdom. TSK, there's a saying in the universe, don't mess with the formation master. The arrogant voice of the celestial master of heaven's formation entered Wang Xian's mind. Are you sure that the opposite side of this black hole is the eternal kingdom of the Double Fox celestial master? Wang Xian looked at the black hole in front of him and said in disbelief, You brat, do you think I, the almighty divine emperor, can lie to you? The divine emperor of heaven formation choked when he heard Wang Xian's words and roared furiously. That might not be the case. Wang Xian looked behind him and gestured for a disciple of the Dragon Palace to enter. That disciple nodded and immediately stepped into the black hole. Buzz. Through sensing the situation of that disciple of the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. Aohe, Chunfeiyang and Enlai, follow me in. Wang Xian moved his body and stepped into the black hole. Let's go! Aohe and the rest did not hesitate and followed closely behind. What are the Dragon King and the rest doing? Everyone around was filled with astonishment when they saw Wang Xian and the rest entering the black hole. Dragon Palace, just you wait. Eternal Divine Leaf, just you wait. Today I, God Master Twin Fox, will be your nightmare. At this moment, in the center of Eternal Twin Fox, a huge fox building in the shape of a twin-tailed god floated in the air. The entire area of the twin-tailed god fox building was tens of millions of kilometers wide. God Master Twin Fox, who appeared in the god country covered in blood, had a ferocious look on his face. Chapter 2214 2214 God Lord was injured, the world was shocked. Run, that god leaf will be here in 5 minutes at most! However, 5 minutes is enough. Double Fox God Lord licked the wounds on her body. She came to the top of her eternal divine kingdom's double-tailed divine fox's head. She raised her head high and looked at the planets around her. Her eyes were cold. I, the Twin Fox God Lord, have stood in the boundless star area for hundreds of thousands of years. This is the first time I have been like a stray dog. I will repay today's grudge tenfold. Ao. As she spoke, she raised her head. A terrifying fox cry was transmitted to the surroundings. Everyone within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers could hear it clearly. On the surrounding vital planets, everyone heard the angry roars that contained their lives. Their faces were filled with shock. What is that sound? It's so terrifying. It seems to be coming from the divine kingdom of our Double Fox God Lord. Experts immediately flew out from the planets and looked in the direction of the eternal divine kingdom in shock. In the sky, there was a blood moon in the sky. The incomparably huge Double Fox God Lord was crouching in the sky above the eternal divine kingdom, his blood-red eyes filled with coldness. When everyone saw this scene, their faces were filled with shock. What exactly happened? Let's go! Double Fox God Lord shouted softly, and the eternal kingdom, which had stood there for more than 100,000 years without moving, slowly began to move. Wang! However, at this moment, in the sky above the eternal kingdom, a black hole appeared out of thin air. The Double Fox Divine Master, who was lying on top of the eternal kingdom, did not notice the sudden appearance of the black hole. Her blood-red eyes scanned her surroundings with nostalgia. Her eyes were filled with hatred. Dragon King, you will regret what happened today! Ha! She began to laugh maniacally. The entire eternal kingdom was emitting a mighty aura. Buzz. At this moment, Wang Xian and the rest walked out slowly from the black hole in the void above them. Double Fox, what are you regretting? Wang Xian replied indifferently when he heard his words. Huh! Double Fox God Lord's ferocious face was completely frozen. When she raised her head and saw Wang Xian and the rest in the void, her pupils contracted slightly. Old hag, you still want to escape? Qin Feiyang stared at the dual fox deity master mockingly. With a move of his body, he transformed into a 10,000-meter tall body. Shush shush! He whistled softly. The sound of the whistle spread over a radius of tens of millions of kilometers. TSK TSK TSK! The dark inferno dragon laughed, and flew to another location. He let out a mocking smile. AO Crab also transformed into a terrifying devouring dragon and locked onto the dual fox deity master completely. No, how is this possible? How could you guys appear here all of a sudden? The double fox celestial master's face was a little dazed and her body was completely frozen. She stared at Wang Xian and the rest in disbelief. From the fallen immortal island to here, even the celestial master had to fly for 6 to 7 minutes. How could they be so fast? How was this possible? Nothing is impossible! Wang Xian stared at him, his face full of cold color. At the same time, for the incipient holy wings of that soul, Wang Xian also slightly surprised. Maybe the old man wasn't lying to him. It's a bit expensive to teleport directly here. 5 artifacts collapsed. Jia, this time see you still how to escape, die. The dark blazing demonic dragon's face was filled with a sinister and wild roar as he directly attacked the twin fox divine master who was lying on top of the eternal divine kingdom. This is my first time killing a divine master. I don't know what I feel, ha ha ha. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with excitement as well. His entire body was like a mountain. With a raise of his arm, a mountain that was hundreds of thousands of kilometers in size appeared in the sky above him. Boom! 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 The incomparably terrifying mountain directly smashed towards the eternal divine kingdom. Roar! 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 AO Crab's 18 claws followed closely behind. No, Twin Fox, I am not reconciled. Twin Fox Divine Master, who was already heavily injured, roared with a face full of indignation. In the endless star field, there had never been a situation where an eternal divine master had been killed. There had never been a god lord who had died in battle. But now, in the boundless starfield, she would be the first. What is this situation? Then who is the person who attacked our double fox god lord? At this moment, the experts and eternal double fox disciples from the surrounding life planets saw this scene in the void, and their faces were filled with shock. They stared at the void in disbelief. Their god master was actually attacked by 3 similarly terrifying existences. Boom, boom, boom! Twin Fox God Master leaped forward. She wanted to resist, wanted to escape. Terrifying energy slanted. Laws, mountains shake the world. A majestic and mighty roar sounded, and Du Fei Yang raised his head, and the earthen yellow shield around him spun rapidly. An incomparably terrifying mountain appeared in the void and fell heavily towards the ground. Bang! The dual fox god lord who collided with it was like a kite with a broken string. On both sides, the dark blazing demonic dragon and AO Crab's fatal attacks followed closely behind. Bang! 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 Flames flew in all directions. The head of the eternal divine kingdom that looked like the dual-tailed divine fox was directly shattered. The dual fox god lord's body landed heavily in the divine kingdom. There was no sound at all. In an instant, the surrounding space seemed to have fallen silent. Wang Xian floated in the void and watched the scene in front of him indifferently. 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds. On the surrounding planets, the disciples of the eternal double fox were watching this scene in astonishment. In the void, more than 100 million disciples of the eternal double fox were watching in a daze. Buzz! 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 Not long after, a rain of blood fell from the sky, and the world mourned. The mournful cries spread across tens of billions of kilometers. The rain of blood covered several planets. Our Lord God seems to have fallen. At this moment, the bodies of hundreds of millions of disciples of the eternal twin foxes trembled violently. Their faces were filled with confusion, fear, and despair. Dying at the hands of you eternal twin foxes can be considered a death with a destination. Wang Xian looked at the location of the eternal divine kingdom and said calmly, I am the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. Today, I have killed the master of the twin foxes. Those who submit will not be spared. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and his mighty voice spread to the few living planets nearby. Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. Everyone muttered when they heard these 4 words. Buzz. Eh? Little brother Wang Xian, did you guys kill him? At this moment, the figure of the divine Lord Xinai flew over. When he saw the eternal kingdom in front of him, he said with a face full of astonishment, Yes, I used some special methods to rush here and kill him. Thank you, brother Xinai, Wang Xian said with a smile. Even if I don't make a move, your dragon palace will be able to kill him. Master Xinai was silent for a moment before he shook his head and said with a smile. His gaze swept across the blood rain in the sky. Master Shuangwu is the first to fall. The world will definitely be shocked when Master Xinai is killed. The Dragon Palace will definitely suppress the world. Chapter 2215. 2215 tipped them off. In the tomb of the fallen immortal god island, tens of millions of people were still standing there in shock. In the battle of the Divine Lords, the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace had 3 Divine Lords under his command, working together with Divine Leaf Divine Lord to destroy the entire Eternal Twin Foxes. But just now, when Twin Fox Divine Lord had escaped, the Dragon King had used a special method to tear a black hole in the void and teleport instantly. No one knew what would happen next, and no one knew what would happen now. Everyone looked at the Double Fox continent in front of them in shock. The continent within a radius of tens of millions of kilometers was directly destroyed, and huge rocks floated in the void. This scene shocked everyone. I don't know what the result will be. Has the Double Fox God Lord escaped? If she escapes, the Dragon Palace might be in trouble in the future. That might not be the case. The Dragon Palace has 3 existences that can contend with her. As time passed, no one left. They were discussing in shock. No matter what, the Dragon Palace will shake the entire boundless star field in the future. Even other God Lord level forces will have to avoid the Dragon King. Some people looked at the experts of the Dragon Palace in the center. Those powerful existences filled them with reverence. Today's battle had shocked the entire world. I wonder if the Double Fox God Lord has escaped. At the position of the Dragon Palace, the people of the Qin clan said with a slight frown. A God Lord wanted to run for his life, but it would be very difficult to catch him. Moreover, the revenge of a God Lord was very terrifying. They were a bit apprehensive. If the Double Fox God Lord came to take revenge on them in the future, they wouldn't be able to resist it. Buzz! At this moment, Prime Minister Gui, who was standing at the side, received the message and a smile appeared on his face. Double Fox God Lord is dead. Disciples of the Dragon Palace, follow me to receive the eternal Double Fox. Prime Minister Gui shouted. Boom! There was an uproar. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone around was shocked. Their eyes were wide open and their faces were full of shock. Double Fox Divine Lord was killed by the Dragon King. The Divine Lord is dead. Oh my God! The first Divine Lord to be killed in history had appeared. Is this how terrifying the Dragon Palace is? Even God Lords can be killed. Some people's eyes were filled with shock. If even God Lords could be killed, who else in the entire endless star field could be a match for the Dragon Palace? If God Lords die, the Dragon Palace will definitely suppress the world. An old man muttered. God Lord Double Fox has been killed. Haha, that's great. However, the people of the Qin clan were extremely excited. They knew what this meant. Everyone from the Dragon Palace, will go with you. Everyone from the Qin clan immediately followed behind and flew toward the direction of the eternal Double Fox. Oh my God! In the future, the 3 God Lords from the Dragon Palace, together with the eternal Divine Leaf God Lord and the 4 God Lords, will be able to unify the entire boundless galaxy. Everyone was shocked. Apart from the Dragon Palace and God Lord Divine Leaf, the boundless star area only had God Lord Wind Expanse of the southern region, God Lord Thunderclap of the northern region, and 7-star God Lord. The 3 God Lords were obviously not as strong as the 4 God Lords of the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace would have nothing to worry about in the boundless star area in the future. The 2 foxes are dead. This isn't good news. At this moment, an illusory human face was flickering inside a meteorite in the void. His expression turned ugly when he heard this news. Dongfang Shinai is with them. Eternal Shocking Thunder has a feud with the Dragon Palace. After they destroy the 2 foxes, they might try to destroy Shocking Thunder. If Shocking Thunder isn't prepared, he will definitely die. It seems. His eyes sparkled. The Dragon Palace was so powerful that even he, the 7-star God Lord, was scared. He had a grudge with the fierce Dragon God Lord. Would the Dragon Palace destroy him in the future? No, we can't let the Dragon Palace expand. We must inform Jinglei God Lord. Otherwise, there will be no place for us in the endless star area. The eyes of the 7-star God Lord flickered, and he disappeared in a flash. He wanted to inform the Thunder God Lord about this matter. He also wanted to go to the southern region and discuss this matter with the Wind Universe God Lord. He couldn't just sit around and wait for death. The 7-star God Lord was very fast. When he arrived at Eternal Shocking Thunder, it took him less than half an hour. Looking at the Thunder God Lord's eternal divine kingdom in front of him, he frowned slightly. Buzz. After hesitating for a moment, he decided not to go in. Instead, he threw a stone into the eternal divine kingdom. He did not dare to get too close to the Thunder God Lord. I hope you can successfully teleport in. Let's go to the southern region and talk to the vast Wind God Lord. The 7-star God Lord took a deep look at the eternal thunderclap and turned to fly south. Bang! However, at this moment, Thunder God Lord was sitting cross-legged in the cultivation room in the eternal divine kingdom. He had been in a bad mood recently. The last time he ambushed the Dragon King, he actually made him escape. The Dragon Palace was so angry that they occupied several planets of eternal shocking thunder, which made him extremely furious. All of a sudden, he looked up and saw a bright stone falling toward his divine kingdom. The stone contained the power of law, and his eyes were full of surprise. Pa! He waved his arm, and the stone flew towards him and caught it in his hand. 1. The next moment, a line of words appeared in the sky above the stone. Double Fox God Lord has been destroyed by Dragon Palace Dragon King. Now, Dragon Palace has 3 God Lord level existences and God Leaf God Lord's allies. A line of words clearly landed in front of him, causing the Thunder God Lord to stand up. This is impossible. How could Double Fox God Lord be killed by the Dragon Palace Dragon King and the others? How could the Dragon Palace have 3 God Lords? The Thunder God Lord's face was filled with disbelief. 3 God Lords. How many God Lords were there in the entire endless star field? However, looking at the stone in front of him that contained the laws, his expression was uncertain. The Earth Law should be the 7-star God Lord of the Central Region. The 7-star God Lord shouldn't have sent this message to me for no reason. He probably wants the other God Lords to die. But he informed me that there is only one situation. This is true. The Thunder God Lord's body was trembling. A God Lord was actually killed by the Dragon Palace. With the hatred between him and the Dragon Palace, the next person the Dragon Palace wanted to kill was him. Damn it, how could there be so many God Lords in the Dragon Palace? The Thunder God Lord growled in a low voice with a ferocious look on his face. I can't stay here any longer, run. But where can I run to? I can't accept this. The Thunder God Lord's ferocious look kept changing. Then, his eyes slowly turned vicious. Even if I have to escape, I will make your Dragon King suffer a lot. He raised his head, and his eyes were blood red. Chapter 22:16. 22:16 was desperate. Boom! 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 In the center of eternal thunder, the eternal kingdom, which was guarding the northern region, released a vast divine might. The enormous eternal kingdom, which was like a valley, released a purple light. Buzz! Buzz! The eternal kingdom trembled slightly, and then disappeared in an instant. What happened? Why did our Master God's eternal kingdom suddenly disappear? Everyone on the surrounding thunderclap planet looked surprised when they saw the sudden disappearance of the eternal kingdom. Their faces were full of curiosity and doubt. Dragon King, even if I have to escape, I will let you enjoy the pain of losing a loved one, the pain of losing a woman, ha ha ha! The enormous eternal kingdom flew at high speed, shuttling through the void from time to time. Thunder God Lord stood in the sky above the eternal divine kingdom, staring at the front with a ferocious face. There was a saying that even a dog would jump over the wall if it was anxious. The Thunder God Lord was undoubtedly forced to this point. The power of the Dragon Palace had completely exceeded his expectations. 3 God Lord level existences, together with the eternal divine leaf, they had destroyed Double Fox God Lord. There was a very high possibility of them destroying him. With the hatred between the two sides, it was impossible to reconcile. He was destined to escape everywhere. Before he escaped, he wanted to take revenge crazily. The extraordinary continent, the Dragon Palace, and the Phoenix Dynasty established by the Dragon Queen. Thunder God Lord murmured, his eyes full of bloody killing intent. He had all the information about the Dragon Palace, including the Dragon King's woman. He would never do such a thing unless it was absolutely necessary. Not to mention the other party's crazy revenge, even a God Lord would not do such a thing just because of his reputation. But in this situation, he had nothing to consider. What honor did a stray dog care about? He stared ahead and stood proudly in the divine kingdom. At this point, his entire body was full of ease. Buzz! The eternal divine kingdom's speed was very fast. In less than 10 minutes, the Thunder God Lord appeared in front of the Transcendence continent. His eyes revealed a sinister look. Today, I will completely destroy your planet. The Thunder God Lord stood proudly in the sky, his entire body incomparably cold as he roared. Crackle, crackle! At the next moment, the entire divine kingdom burst out with terrifying lightning. Countless lightning bolts covered the void of the entire Transcendence continent. Lightning was brewing and gathering. He wanted to destroy the entire planet with a single strike, destroying everyone on it. Destroying the planet, killing tens of billions of people, there had never been an expert who dared to do such a heinous thing. What's the situation? At this moment, a group of girls in the extraordinary continent saw the sky suddenly filled with thunder and lightning. The terrifying destructive thunder and lightning covered almost half of the planet, and their expressions changed drastically. Look over there. Oh no, that seems to be the Thunder God Lord's eternal divine kingdom. He wants to destroy our entire planet. Feng Wan looked at the sky in the east and saw the incomparably huge eternal divine kingdom that contained boundless divine might. Her expression changed drastically. Why did the Thunder God Lord suddenly come over? Isn't he afraid of the Dragon Palace's counterattack? The group of girls' faces were filled with shock as they cried out involuntarily. No, we must resist his attack. Otherwise, the entire planet will be finished. Lan Qingyue's expression was extremely gloomy. Little Blue! She hurriedly shouted. Woo woo! Little Blue, who was 200 kilometers in size, let out a roar. Xiaolan, who was 200 kilometers in size, now had the strength of a peak deity. It raised its head and looked at the Thunder God Lord in the sky while emitting a savage aura. Its eyes swept across the lightning in the sky, and a hint of solemnity flashed in its eyes. What's going on? Why are there so many lightning bolts in the sky? Is it going to destroy the world? What a terrifying energy! Elder Land's godly beast has attacked. It must be an enemy invasion. Lightning bolts, the sky is full of lightning bolts. Don't tell me it's the people from the eternal shocking lightning? Everyone on the Transcendence continent looked up in panic. This scene was like the end of the world. I'll go over and ask Master Lan to block this attack. Contact the experts of the Dragon Palace immediately. Lan Qingwei clenched her fists and shouted loudly. Qingwei, I'm of the light element. I'll go with you. Sun Lingxiu moved and flew toward Xiao Lan's body. Lan Qingwei hesitated for a moment and nodded. Don't follow me. It's useless, she said to the other girls, not letting them come over. Lan, can you get rid of these thunderbolts? Lan Qingwei landed on Lan Qingyue's head and said loudly to him. Woo woo! Lan Qingwei stared at the thunderbolts that filled the sky and her gaze fell in the direction of the eternal divine kingdom. You want to use the black hole to take it away? Lan Qingwei frowned slightly. Using the black hole to take the eternal divine kingdom, and even the eternal God Lord to another location, they would also follow. At that time, with Little Blue in their strength, they would not be a match for the God Lord. Sister Lingxiu, you go down first. Lan Qingwei immediately said to Sun Lingxiu. Qingwei, stop talking nonsense, go! Sun Lingxiu grabbed her hand and stared at her as she said. Lingxiu, I can't guarantee that Little Blue will be able to escape from the God Lord's attack. Lan Qingyue's expression was a little ugly. She gritted her teeth and patted Little Blue who was beneath her. Woo woo! An earth-shattering roar sounded. Wang! Little Blue's incomparably huge body directly trembled. He opened his incomparably huge mouth. In front of his mouth, a black hole appeared. The black hole expanded at a terrifying speed. Boom, boom, boom! The black hole connected to another region and pushed forward. As Little Blue advanced, the black hole expanded at a terrifying speed. In the void ahead, everything was devoured by the black hole. Oh? What divine beast is this? How can it be so huge? A space beast? In the void, Thunder God Lord looked at Little Blue who had suddenly appeared, and his face revealed a shocked expression. A 200 kilometers large void beast. What kind of concept was this? Even if he was a God Lord, this was the first time he had seen such a terrifying and huge beast. Oh no, that black hole can devour everything! Thunder God Lord's expression changed slightly, but soon after, a savage expression appeared on his face. A beast, die! He waved his arm, and the surrounding lightning immediately gathered into a 100-kilometer-long lightning spear, directly attacking towards Little Blue. Woo woo! Little Blue saw the incoming lightning spear and let out a muffled roar. He charged the black hole towards the lightning spear. The lightning spear disappeared into the black hole instantly. At this time, the entire black hole had expanded to an area of a few million kilometers. Damn, this beast is so strange! The Thunder God Lord's expression changed. Wang! At this moment, a terrifying suction force came from Little Blue's body, causing the eternal divine kingdom in the void to tremble. Blue increased speed, directly covered by the black hole. Chapter 2217. 2217 was desperate. 1. The black hole that covered nearly 10 million kilometers completely enveloped the Thunder God Lord and his eternal divine kingdom. In the void of the Transcendence continent, the entire sky was unusually clear. The dense lightning slowly dissipated. The eternal divine kingdom and the black hole had completely disappeared. If it really was the Thunder God Lord, Qingwei and Lingxiu are in danger. We must contact Little Xian as soon as possible. Although the group of girls saw that they had survived the crisis, Little Lan Qingwei and Sun Lingxiu were also in danger. If it was really Thunder God's doing, it would be a devastating blow to Lan Qingwei and Sun Lingxiu. The girls looked anxious and immediately contacted him. Buzz! However, at this moment, in the vast void of the northern region, a black hole slowly appeared. Not long after the black hole appeared, an incomparably terrifying lightning spear shot out from the black hole, directly attacking the void ahead. In front, A fireball-like planet floated in the void. The lightning's spear accurately landed on the Death Star. Boom! A violent explosion sounded out. The terrifying lightning spear directly pierced through the planet, emitting a violent explosion. 1. Following that, an incomparably huge eternal divine kingdom emerged from the black hole, followed closely by an incomparably huge gray void behemoth. The Thunder God Lord, who was caught off guard and was sucked into the black hole, had an extremely ugly expression. He turned his head, his blood-red eyes staring at Little Blue who had appeared behind him, his face filled with fury. He never would have thought that a God Lord like him would actually be brought into the vast void by an animal. Although this was the northern region, it was still far away from the planet on the Transcendence continent. Crackle, crackle! Thunder God Lord's entire body was emitting violent lightning. Countless bolts of lightning shot into the sky from the eternal divine kingdom. "You beasts, die for me!" he roared, and countless bolts of lightning condensed into one and directly struck towards Little Blue. "Not good, Little Blue, quickly flee!" Lan Qingwei saw the incomparably terrifying lightning attack coming over, and hurriedly shouted at Little Blue. "Woo woo!" Little Blue also felt the threat of death from the bolts of lightning. He let out a low roar, and another black hole appeared in front of him. "Damn it, what kind of monster is this? Why is it able to travel through black holes even though I used my divine might to suppress a domain?" Thunder God Lord appeared once again, and a look of shock and anger appeared on his face. In a battle between experts above the deity realm, one could use their divine might to seal a domain and prevent the opponent from teleporting. But now, his divine might didn't have the slightest effect on this space beast. "You want to escape? Die!" Thunder God Lord roared furiously, and the lightning in the sky scattered and fell toward Little Blue who was behind the black hole. In an instant, the dense lightning fell on Xiaolan's body. Roar, roar, roar! In an instant, blood splattered all over Xiaolan's body. Light of hope! Sun Lingxiu saw the injuries on Xiaolan's body and her expression changed slightly. She placed both her hands on Xiaolan's body and let out a dazzling white light. However, now that she had ignited 6 wisps of divine fire, the healing effect was only a drop in the bucket. Woo woo! Little Blue endured the large-scale injuries and burrowed into the black hole to escape. Die! I will definitely kill you today! When the Thunder God Lord saw that Little Blue wanted to escape, he let out a savage roar and immediately entered the black hole to continue his pursuit. Little Blue, hold on, you have to hold on! Lan Qingwei looked behind her with an extremely ugly expression. Facing a God Lord, if Little Blue wasn't the legendary Kun, she would have been killed by now. However, it would be difficult to escape from a God Lord. 1. Little Blue's body entered the black hole again and appeared at the border between the northern and eastern regions. An enormous energy tide pierced through the entire void. However, at this moment, Lan Qingwei, Sun Lingxiu, and the others did not have the time to check their surroundings. Little Blue's body stepped out of the black hole and immediately opened its incomparably huge mouth, wanting to continue releasing it. If you can escape from my hands, I, the mighty Thunder God Lord, can commit suicide. When Little Blue's body had yet to step into the black hole, the Thunder God Lord's voice appeared in the sky. Boom! Following that, an incomparably terrifying power landed on Little Blue's body. The terrifying lightning completely covered it. Ayo, ayo, ayo! A painful voice came out of Little Blue's mouth, and in an instant, his entire body was blackened by the lightning. His gray body completely turned black, and purple lightning covered it densely. Lan Qingwei and Sun Lingxiu were protected by Xiao Lan. Xiao Lan, consume your life force! Enter the energy tide ahead! Lan Qingwei let out a low growl with an extremely ugly expression. 1-1! Xiao Lan's body trembled as the black part of his body that was covered by lightning fell down. He endured the pain on his body and entered the energy tide directly. Ha ha ha, you beast, your vitality is really strong. However, today, even if you have 10 lives, I will still kill you! The Thunder God Lord roared furiously. He floated in the eternal kingdom and waved his arm. An incomparably huge thunder spear appeared in his hand. So! The thunder spear that was at least 100 kilometers in size directly attacked Little Blue. Pun! The lightning spear landed on Little Blue's body and instantly pierced through it. Woo woo! Little Blue let out a painful cry as his speed suddenly increased. What a terrifying life force! Seeing that Little Blue was still not killed, shock flashed in the Thunder Godlord's eyes. Die! Behind him, more than 10 lightning spears appeared and attacked Little Blue once again. Kun domain! Lan Qingwei clenched her arms tightly and shouted softly. Buzz! Xiao Lan instantly disappeared into thin air. More than 10 lightning spears pierced through Xiao Lan's previous position. Very quickly, Xiao Lan appeared 10,000 kilometers away. Woo woo, Mom, I can feel the energy of the black hole right in front of me. At this moment, Xiao Lan suddenly said to Lan Qingwei. Black hole? What black hole? Lan Qingwei was slightly stunned and immediately asked. I don't know. It leads to an unknown place. The energy of the black hole is raging inside. It's very difficult to pass through, but Little Blue can pass through. Little Blue said. Go over. Lan Qingwei gritted her teeth and immediately gave him an order. Woo woo. Little Blue let out a violent roar and flew crazily towards the direction of the black hole. Damn it! When the Thunder God Lord saw the space beast dodge his attack and instantly appear 10,000 kilometers away, he let out a furious roar. Buzz! His body moved and he immediately chased after it. Look, what is that? At that moment, in front of the energy tide, Eternal Divine Leaf and Eternal Thunder's disciples suddenly saw the terrifying beast from the lower reaches flying over. Their faces were filled with shock. Chapter 2218 2218 2218 Upgrade. You want to escape? Die! At the lower reaches of the energy tide, the terrifying space beast was escaping. Everyone around the energy tide looked over in shock. Feeling the savage aura, everyone widened their eyes. At this moment, an extremely angry voice came from behind. That's the Thunder God Lord, the Thunder God Lord and his eternal divine kingdom. What is that terrifying beast? Why is the Thunder God Lord chasing after us so furiously? When everyone saw the eternal divine kingdom and the vast figure above, their expressions changed drastically. Especially the disciples of the eternal divine leaves, they hurriedly fled into the distance. The eternal thunder and the eternal divine leaves were enemies. Crackle, crackle! The sky full of lightning once again attacked Little Blue. Everyone looked at the world-destroying lightning, their hearts trembling as they frantically tried to hide in their surroundings. Boom, boom, boom! The lightning wreaked havoc, and even the massive energy tide was greatly affected. One! A gray energy appeared on Little Blue's body, and his incomparably huge eyes stared at the black hole that was pouring out the energy tide. Boom! Boom! The terrifying lightning struck the energy defense behind Xiaolan. It penetrated the energy and struck his body. In an instant, his body turned pitch black again. Xiaolan, who was originally around 200 kilometers, was now only 150 kilometers in size. The reason why Xiaolan was able to block the fatal attacks time and time again was because he had to pay the price of losing his body. This was also the terror of Kuan. Pa pa pa! Black skin was washed away by the energy tide. Little Blue stared at the violent black hole that was just a short distance away and directly rushed into it. That giant beast wants to enter the black hole of the tide. Is that giant beast courting death? When everyone saw Little Blue rushing into the black hole of the tide, their faces were filled with shock. There was once a god lord who decided to enter the tidal black hole because he was curious about why there were treasures flowing out of it. However, he was injured and escaped from there. From then on, no one dared to enter the tidal black hole. Now that they saw that huge beast rushing in, their faces were filled with shock. This huge beast wants to enter the tidal black hole? Behind them, the Thunder God Lord's expression changed drastically when he saw this scene. His face sank. Is this guy looking to die? His eyes flickered as he growled in a low voice. Holy shit, what the fuck is going on? However, at this moment, at the center of the energy-tied black hole, an earthen yellow figure was hiding inside. When he saw an incomparably terrifying space beast flying over from behind, he was somewhat dumbfounded. He was a famous treasure thief, but he had only come here to search for treasures for a few days. He relied on the divine dragon body he condensed to obtain many treasures within a few days. Why did a savage beast suddenly appear now? Crackle, crackle! The most frightening thing was that at this moment, he suddenly felt a destructive bolt of lightning striking towards him. Fuck, this bolt of lightning, it's that fellow, Jinglei. Damn it, this young master here is obediently looking for treasures. How can I be so unlucky? The Earth Grandson's face was incomparably pale. He hurriedly moved and immediately transformed into the 10,000-meter Earth Divine Dragon's body. Ah! A pained cry rang out. The dragon's scales on his dragon body were struck down by the lightning, and his entire face revealed a look of fear. This young master doesn't want to die! He frantically dodged under Xiao Lan's body. What an unexpected disaster! Xiao Lan endured the attack of the lightning in the sky and frantically flew into the black hole. Woo woo! When he saw the divine dragon flying towards him, he was slightly stunned. He opened his huge mouth and directly swallowed it. Fuck! The Earth Grandson's expression changed. He felt as if he had entered the tiger's mouth. Wing! Little Blue's body slowly entered the black hole and gradually disappeared. The Thunder God Lord looked at the huge beast that had completely disappeared. He stood there with an uncertain expression. Even the God Lord will die if he enters the black hole. You, a beast, will also die. He let out a low roar and swept his gaze around. With a gloomy expression, he immediately flew into the void. He was about to begin his own escape. Within the black hole of the energy tide, Xiao Lan let out a low growl. He opened his huge mouth and devoured some of the treasures within the black hole. We can't go back. We have to head to the end of the black hole. Lan Qingwei and Sun Lingxiu looked at each other and said, It's all right. We'll come back. Moreover, Xiao Xian will come looking for us. The two of them held hands tightly. A smile appeared on their faces as they looked at the vast darkness in front of them. That place was an unknown starfield, an unknown world. What? The Thunder God Lord is attacking the Transcendence continent. Xiao Lan and Qingwei Lingxiu are trying to lure the Thunder God Lord away. We can't contact him now? At this moment, at the location of the Eternal Twin Foxes, Wang Xian's expression changed drastically when he received the messages from the girls. His face instantly revealed an extremely brutal aura. Beside him, Qin Feiyang, the god of divine leaves, was slightly shocked when he sensed Wang Xian's aura. Little brother Wang Xian, what happened? The god of divine leaves asked solemnly. The god of thunder has attacked a planet in the Dragon Palace's territory and wants to destroy the planet, Wang Xian said with a gloomy face. Brother divine leaves, help me take care of this place. I want to leave immediately. All right, you go and take care of the matters of the Dragon Palace first. Master Shinai nodded immediately. All the members of the Dragon Palace, follow me. Aohe, return to the Dragon Palace as soon as possible. Wang Xian immediately ordered his subordinates around him. It's the Dragon King! Aohe and the rest also knew the severity of the matter. They immediately led Wang Xian and all the members of the Dragon Palace away. Qin Feiyang also followed by the side. Dragon King, logically speaking, it's impossible for the Lord of Thunderclap to shed all pretense of cordiality with us at this time. Furthermore, it's impossible for us to spread the news of us killing the Double Fox God Lord in such a short period of time. Ao Crab, Qin Feiyang, and the rest brought the Dragon Palace flying. Wang Xian stood in the Dragon Palace with a gloomy face. Prime Minister Gui frowned and said from the side, I know. With the speed of the communication device, even if someone from Eternal Thunderclap is on the fallen Immortal Island, it is impossible for the news to reach Eternal Thunderclap so quickly. If anything happens to Qingwei Lingxiu and the rest, eternal thunderclap. Wang Xian nodded his head coldly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. From the western region to the northern region, with the speed of the God Lord, it would take at least 10 minutes. Along the way, he passed by eternal thunderclap. When Wang Xian saw that the eternal kingdom of the Thunder God Lord was not around, killing intent surged in his heart. There were only two possibilities for such a situation. First, someone had informed the Thunder God Lord. When the Thunder God Lord found out about the terrifying strength of the Dragon Palace, he was desperate and wanted to risk his life. And the person who could inform him so quickly was only at the level of the God Lord. Secondly, the Thunder God Lord had also come to the fallen Immortal Island. After witnessing the terrifying strength of the Dragon Palace, he took revenge in advance. Chapter 2219. 2219 Upgrading 2219. Buzz. Xiao Xian, we can't contact Qingwei and Lingxiu right now. Hurry up and look for them. If they didn't leave with Xiaolan, we might have been killed by the Thunder God. When Wang Xian arrived on Earth, a group of girls flew over and asked anxiously, "Where did they go?" Wang Xian's face was gloomy as he asked the group of girls. "I don't know. Xiaolan used the black hole teleportation. We don't know where they went either." The group of girls replied. "Damn it! Chen Feiyang, Ao Crab, and Enlai, search the surroundings immediately. With Xiaolan's speed, she should still be in the northern region. Everyone from the Dragon Palace, search through the planet-by-planet teleportation." Wang Xian calmed his heart and sensed the location of Lan Qingwei, Xiaolan, and Sun Lingxiu. Without sensing anything, he immediately gave an order. "It's the Dragon King!" Chen Feiyang, Ao He, and the rest of the members of the Dragon Palace left immediately. Chen Feiyang, Ao He, and the dark blazing demonic dragon flew directly into the void while the members of the Dragon Palace used the teleportation formation to search for information. As he watched them leave, Wang Xian stood there with a gloomy face. "Don't worry, Dragon King. According to the investigations conducted by the Dragon Palace, the Dragon Queen and the rest are not in danger. Xiaolan is a race at the peak of the universe. It's not that easy to kill her." Prime Minister Gui walked to Wang Xian's side and comforted him. He nodded. From the soul returning wood and the number of people in the Dragon Palace, he could see that Lan Qingwei, Sun Lingxiu, and the rest were not killed. "I've made you all worried." Wang Xian hugged the rest of the girls and comforted them. "We're fine. As long as Qingwei and the rest are fine," the girls said worriedly. "Let's wait in the Dragon Palace." As Wang Xian spoke, he returned to the Dragon Palace with an expressionless face. Soon, the entire northern region was in a state of chaos. All the members of the Dragon Palace went to the planets to search for news. When they entered the territory of Eternal Shocking Thunder, some of the experts of Eternal Shocking Thunder wanted to ask the disciples of the Dragon Palace to get out. However, all those who tried to stop them were killed on the spot. This shocked everyone in Eternal Shocking Thunder. Some planets asked for help, but there was no response. Then, someone realized that 5 peak godly state experts of the Dragon Palace had rushed into the main planet of Eternal Shocking Thunder, the planet of Shocking Thunder. The 5 peak godly state experts of the Dragon Palace had suppressed everyone in Eternal Thunderclap. The last 2 peak godly state experts had been killed by the experts of the Dragon Palace. This shocked the entire northern region. Everyone was confused. Where did the God Lord of Thunderclap go? Why did the Dragon Palace dare to be so arrogant? Soon, 7 to 8 hours later, a piece of shocking news arrived. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace ordered 3 God Lord level existences under his command, along with the help of the Leaf God Lord of the East, to kill the Double Fox God Lord of the West. The entire Eternal Double Fox had been completely destroyed by the Dragon Palace. When everyone in the north heard the news, their first reaction was disbelief. But when they thought about how the entire north had been ravaged by the Dragon Palace, and how Eternal Shocking Thunder had been suppressed by the experts of the Dragon Palace, Everyone took a deep breath. All of this should be true. Where did the Thunder God Lord go? There was also a result. He escaped. This made everyone in Eternal Thunderclap extremely terrified. The three God Lords of the Dragon Palace, together with the help of the Eternal Divine Leaf of the East, were completely invincible. Even the Thunder God Lord had to flee. This news shocked everyone, but soon, there was another piece of news that shocked the northern region. Before the Thunder God Lord escaped, he went to the Dragon Palace's nest to destroy the planet, but he was attracted away by a terrifying Dragon Queen and Space Beast. Now, the three God Lord level experts of the Dragon Palace and Dragon Palace were searching wantonly. In the end, news came from the Energy Tide Black Hole. The Dragon Queen led the Space Beast into the Energy Tide Black Hole. All the disciples of the Eternal Thunderclap were trembling. Now that their God Lord had escaped, the Dragon Palace was invincible. Would the Dragon Palace implicate their ordinary disciples? The black hole of the Energy Tide? At this moment, Wang Xian was sitting in the Dragon Palace. His expression was a little ugly. He had also found out the whereabouts of Qin Yu and Ling Xiu. However, what he didn't expect was that they had entered the black hole of the Energy Tide. Ever since Wang Xian arrived at the Boundless Galaxy, the first place he went to was the black hole of the Energy Tide. Wang Xian knew a little about the black hole of the Energy Tide. The black hole contained a terrifying amount of energy. Even the God Lord would have a slim chance of survival if he entered it. According to the information from the Dragon Palace, Lan Qingwei and the rest were clearly not in danger. He frowned slightly and a pensive look appeared on his face. That's right! Suddenly, Wang Xian thought of someone. With a thought, he immediately contacted the Divine Emperor of Heaven's formation behind him. Old man, I want to ask you something. He transmitted his voice. I know what you want to ask. The black hole of Energy Tide that you mentioned was formed from a huge battle. At the end of the black hole of Energy Tide is a battlefield ruins. The universe is not infinite. The area that you guys are in is a small, remote place. At the end of the black hole is another bright land. Although there are no tens of thousands of races fighting at the center of the universe, it is still considered a holy land. The Tianqing God Emperor said. Bright land? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. For someone like you, you are just a small god. The Eternal God Lord is considered an expert. The Immortal God King is in charge of the area and the Void God Emperor is invincible. However, to pass through the energy black hole, an ordinary God Master would find it hard to do. One would need to comprehend at least 5 or 6 laws to pass through. Tianqing God Emperor said indifferently. To reach the God Master level, one would need to comprehend laws, like fire. The first level of the flame law was the true fire, the second level was the true fire, the third level was the true fire, and so on. After comprehending the fire laws, one could evolve one's offensive techniques from the fire laws. Wang Xian frowned slightly, and his eyes flickered. Kid, if you take me as your master, I can immediately bring you through the black hole of the tide to find your wife. The God of Heaven's formation continued. You said that the God of Void is invincible in this world, so why are you dead? Wang Xian asked with a twinkle in his eyes. If I didn't misjudge the person. The Celestial Emperor of Heaven's formation suddenly fell silent for a moment before he spoke slowly with a heavy tone. The moment he finished his words, he fell into silence again. Wang Xian stood in the Dragon King's hall with a look of contemplation and hesitation on his face. Let's improve first. As for the rest, we'll talk about it when I'm stronger. Wang Xian mumbled to himself. The matters of the Thunder God Lord, Qingwei Lingxiu and the rest, as well as the matter of the Tianqing Celestial Emperor behind him, would be discussed in the future. Chapter 2220 22,220 points. Twin Fox God Lord has fallen. The first God Lord was killed. The eternal Twin Foxes have been destroyed. The 3 God Lords of the Dragon Palace have suppressed the boundless star field. Thunder God Lord has escaped. The entire eternal thunderclap has submitted. The Dragon Palace is the leader of the northern region. The Dragon Palace is simply too heaven-defying now. Together with the eternal divine leaf, they almost rule the entire boundless star field. The Dragon King hasn't reached the God Lord realm yet, but he can control 3 God Lord level underlings. It's absolutely terrifying. 2 days later, the news of the death of the Twin Fox God Lord and the annihilation of the eternal Twin Fox spread like wildfire throughout the boundless star field. When everyone received the news, their faces were filled with shock. Countless people were shocked by the terrifying rise of the Dragon Palace. Even some God-level experts were filled with shock and awe. They could even kill the eternal God Lord. One could imagine how terrifying the Dragon Palace was. Everyone was talking about the Dragon Palace and the Dragon King. Many people were stunned and speechless at the same time when they heard about the Thunder God Lord. The overlord of a region had started his own escape. The entire boundless star field was boiling because of the Dragon Palace's strength. On the 3rd day, all the resources of the eternal Twin Foxes and eternal shocking thunder were sent to the Dragon Palace. The entire Dragon Palace had obtained a terrifying amount of resources. On the 4th day, the 2 God Lords of the Eternal 7 Stars and Eternal Wind World ordered their subordinates to send many congratulatory gifts to the Dragon Palace. When this news spread out, it shocked countless people. The actions of the Eternal 7 Stars and Eternal Wind World were undoubtedly to express their goodwill. This was something that had never happened before. The situation where the 5 masters were divided had been completely broken. Roar! 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 At this moment, in the Dragon King's hall of the Dragon Palace, a mighty roar was heard. Wang Xian's terrifying body was exuding endless majesty. Feeling the power coming from his body, Wang Xian revealed a smile. Name: Wang Xian. Race: Yin-Yang 5 Elements Divine Dragon, Mandragon Unity. Level: 6 Wisps of Divine Fire, 5th Change of the Divine Dragon Transformation. Divine Crystal: 7,735. 4 billion/500 billion. Supernatural Ability: Rule the Water Tribe, rule the Water Tribe below one's level. Devour living things to extract divine crystals. Control of the 5 elements. Cultivation Method: Divine Dragon Transformation. Supernatural Ability: Soul Absorbing, Spirit Attaching, Yin-Yang 5 Elements Dragon Eyes. Aspect: 5 Elements Grinding, Dragon Kingdom in the palm, Dragon Head under the heavens, Dragon Body of 10,000 miles, Yin-Yang Dual Polarity, Yin-Yang 5 Elements Arms Bowl, Divine Dragon Tail Swing. Divine Kingdom, Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace, Level 6. Dragon Palace Member, 53,633. His mind moved as he looked at his attributes. 6 Wisps of Divine Fire. He had already lit 6 wisps of divine fire. In just a few days, Wang Xian had lit 2 wisps of divine fire. Although he needed a lot of resources to light up the divine fire, the resources of the Eternal Twin Foxes and a small portion of the resources of Eternal Thunderclap allowed him to light up 2 wisps of divine fire. It was not too surprising. Feeling the vast power coming from his entire body, Wang Xian felt that if he wanted to kill the god of twin foxes, he would need at most 1 minute. Although Wang Xian did not comprehend any laws, the power of 7 attributes was comparable to the attack of laws. This is such a terrifying power. Didn't this kid only ignite 6 wisps of divine fire? Even with the augmentation of the 5 elements energy, it is impossible for him to be this terrifying. That's not right. This kid has 7 attributes, light and darkness. He even managed to control the luster. Damn, what kind of monster is this? How is this possible? His body and the Dragon Palace. This is clearly the body of a dragon. Could it be that he has obtained the inheritance of the Divine Dragon? Isn't the Divine Dragon clan exterminated? At this moment, the Divine Emperor of Heaven's formation, who was behind Wang Xian, felt the might of Wang Xian and was dumbfounded. He was a Divine Emperor who had lived for tens of millions of years. This was the first time he was so shocked. Not to mention that he had never seen or heard of the 7 attributes in the legends. There was also that terrifying body of a dragon. This was the first time he had seen Wang Xian transform into the body of a divine dragon since he woke up. This made him feel incredulous. According to the records, the divine dragon tribe had perished together with the bug tribe hundreds of millions of years ago. There had been no trace of the divine dragon for hundreds of millions of years. Feeling the terror of the body of the divine dragon, his face was filled with astonishment. This kid must have obtained the inheritance of the divine dragon. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so heaven-defying. No wonder he has no interest in becoming my master. He even ignored it. He must have obtained the complete inheritance of the divine dragon clan. The divine emperor of Tiancheng was visibly moved. His soul was trembling non-stop. If he agrees, it will be a piece of cake for him to avenge himself in the future. He can even resurrect me then, he mumbled to himself. A fiery expression appeared on his face. His eyes were flickering. Phew! Wang Xian took a deep breath as his eyes sparkled. In the current boundless galaxy, no one had comprehended 2 laws. His strength could be said to be invincible in the entire boundless galaxy. Congratulations, Dragon King! Prime Minister Gui and the rest walked over from the side and bowed respectfully. Is there any news about the Lord of Thunderbolt? Wang Xian nodded his head and asked Prime Minister Gui. Dragon King, there is no news about the Lord of Thunderclap. He should be hiding somewhere right now. He might not come out for a few years or even decades. Prime Minister Gui shook his head. As an eternal lord with a lifespan of 1,000,000 years, a few years or decades was very short. There was a high possibility that the Lord of Thunderclap would hide in the void for a few decades. It was even harder for the Dragon Palace to find him than ascending to the heavens. Wang Xian frowned slightly and his expression was a little ugly. Now that Qing Yu and Ling Xiu had no idea where he was due to his whereabouts, he had to take revenge. As long as he didn't kill the Thunder God Lord, he wouldn't be satisfied. He couldn't afford to wait for a few decades. Give the order. Order all the forces in the boundless galaxy to find the whereabouts of the Thunder God Lord, Wang Xian said to Prime Minister Gui calmly. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gui nodded. His body moved and he immediately flew out to give the order. Wang Xian sat in the Dragon Palace and waited quietly. A day later, a piece of news was sent out from the Dragon Palace. The news spread throughout the entire boundless galaxy at a terrifying speed. The Dragon King ordered all the forces in the boundless galaxy to search for the Lord of Thunderclap. This news caused the entire boundless star field to boil. The Dragon King is so powerful. He actually ordered all the forces to search for the Thunder God Lord. They even ordered the Eternal 7 Stars and Eternal Wind Expanse? This is too powerful. Is the Dragon King going to order the entire boundless star field? He doesn't care about the Eternal Wind Expanse and the Eternal 7 Stars at all. Everyone was stunned. The Dragon King's order was too strong. When the news reached the Eternal Wind Universe and the Eternal 7 Stars, the disciples of the 2 forces didn't look good. They weren't subordinates of the Dragon Palace, so why should they listen to the Dragon Palace's orders? If they really listened to the Dragon Palace's orders, wouldn't they admit that they were subordinates of the Dragon Palace? Chapter 2221 2221 2221 Array Formation. Shaman. When the Dragon King's order came out, the Eternal 7 Stars and Eternal Wind World ignored it. However, they ignored it. The other forces did not dare to resist. They were really afraid that a God Lord level expert from the Dragon Palace would come and directly suppress them. Although the other forces were somewhat unwilling, they still sent their disciples to perfunctorily search for the whereabouts of the Thunder God Lord. It was impossible for a God Lord to escape and be found. The entire boundless star field became lively, and the story of the Dragon King was quickly spread. Later, when everyone learned that the Dragon Palace had come from the faraway Vipralopa land, they were even more surprised. Half a month later, the entire Dragon Palace moved to the Boundless Sea in the central area. The Dragon Palace was stationed in the Boundless Sea, intimidating everyone. During the half a month, the Dragon Palace was surging with a vast aura every day. After destroying the Eternal Twin Foxes and obtaining the corpse of the Eternal God Lord along with the corpses of more than 20 Peak God Realm experts, the members of the Dragon Palace had received a huge increase. Just the combat strength of Peak God Realm members had increased by 11. Even though Ao Xingmu did not comprehend any laws, he still possessed the combat strength of a God Lord. After this period of time, the dark blazing demonic dragon's strength had also increased by leaps and bounds. In the past, he did not have the divine dragon transformation technique, so he could only fight one level higher. Now, with time, his strength had already surpassed that of a God Lord who had comprehended a single law. He could almost fight against a God Lord who had comprehended 2 laws. With time, they would only become stronger and stronger. However, there was still no information about the God Lord of Thunderclap in the past 10 to 20 days. The boundless galaxy was huge. It was too difficult to find a person, especially a God Lord. During this period of time, Wang Xian brought Hu Yen'er to the Dragon Palace. This made the girls dumbfounded. Guan Shuqing and the rest of the girls almost beat him up. Considering that Lan Qingwei, Sun Lingxiu, and the rest were nowhere to be seen, and that Wang Xian was rather exhausted during this period of time, they didn't bother with him. They could only accept it. Although Hu Yen'er was also a little stunned, she wasn't too surprised. In this world, there were more than a dozen or even dozens of powerhouses. She could accept it more easily than Guan Shuqing and the rest of the girls. Old man, come out. Let's discuss. On this day, Wang Xian sat on the dragon throne and transmitted his voice to the God of Heaven's formation. Hee, young friend, when are you looking for me? Just as Wang Xian finished his sentence, a shadow slowly appeared in front of him. During this period of time, the God of Heaven's formation was waiting for Wang Xian to look for him. He also knew that Wang Xian would definitely look for him. Do you have any way to find the God of Shocking Thunder? Also, what's the situation at the bright land over at the energy-tied black hole? Wang Xian really wanted to ask him something. Firstly, Wang Xian wanted to capture the God of Shocking Thunder and kill him. Secondly, he wanted to understand the bright land on the other side of the black hole. Now that Qingwei and Lingxiu had passed through the black hole, he wanted to look for them in the future. Furthermore, when the Dragon Palace had reached a certain stage of development, he had to step into a stronger region to seek development. There are naturally ways to do so. My Tao of formations is to seize the fortunes of the world. Trapping formations, killing formations, illusion formations, defense, curses, and looking for people. Tianqing God Emperor raised his head slightly and said proudly, Of course, my young friend, you may have looked down on my Tao of formations since you have obtained the Divine Dragon's inheritance. However, when you have cultivated your formations to the pinnacle of the Shaman realm, you can still stand at the peak of the universe and not be any weaker than the Divine Dragon. Following that, the Tianqing Celestial Emperor continued to speak. Shaman? Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. He had heard of such experts from the Divine Dragon's inheritance. They were not of the same race but a heaven-defying cultivation path. That's right, it's the shaman. When the shaman word is separated, the human word is located at the center. It is a lever that supports the world. It represents that I will stand at the peak of the universe. When one cultivates the Tao of formations to the peak, he will carve the heaven and earth great formation into his body. He will be invulnerable to all kinds of spells. His body will bear the weight of the world and possess the power to destroy the world. Sky Formation God Emperor said with some yearning. Back then, it was because I obtained a heaven and earth great formation and was prepared to inject it into my body to increase my strength. I was harmed by those damn fellows. He growled with some hatred. If you want to learn, I will teach you everything. Very soon, the God of Heaven's formation adjusted his emotions and said with a smile, Oh? You are so kind? Wang Xian looked at him in surprise. My young friend, I'm afraid you have some misunderstanding about me. Back then, when I just woke up, I did want to possess your body. However, this was only because I had no other choice. My young friend, you should be very clear about my current situation. With your current strength, you can even make my soul dissipate. I taught you the array formation because I hope that when you become stronger in the future, you can help me take revenge. You can create a body for me and help me revive. The Divine Emperor of Heaven's formation felt a little bitter. At the same time, he spoke with some anticipation. Wang Xian had already become his last lifeline. He didn't dare to play any tricks. Moreover, if he wasn't forced to do so, he wouldn't have done such things. He, who was determined to walk the path of witchcraft, had the sky above his head and his feet on the ground. He was above board and above board. All right. Wang Xian stared at him and nodded his head faintly. With the current state of the Celestial Emperor of Heaven's formation, he didn't have the ability to play any tricks. Even if he were to build a body for him in the future, his strength might have already reached the 7 transformations of the Divine Dragon realm by then. By then, even if he had any bad thoughts, he would be able to easily suppress him. I believe in you, my young friend. I will definitely impart the Tao of formations to you without holding anything back. The Tiancheng Celestial Emperor revealed an excited expression and said immediately, All right, let's teach some of my subordinates from the Dragon Palace along the way. Wang Xian had a thought and immediately got Prime Minister Jiui to call the Fire Hammer clan over. To forge a divine weapon, one needed to draw a formation. Now, it was extremely difficult for the Fire Hammer clan to forge a divine weapon. The main reason was the lack of a formation. In the boundless galaxy, there were very few real formation masters. Most of them would set up some simple formations. There wasn't a single formation that could enter one's body. Whatever! The Celestial Emperor of Heaven's formation smiled bitterly when he heard Wang Xian's words. Back then, he wouldn't agree even if someone wanted him to teach them a thing or two. But now, he was teaching a group of people. He shook his head slightly and felt a little helpless. Soon, Wang Xian brought the Celestial Emperor of Heaven's formation to the Dragon Field. Not bad, not bad. As expected of the Divine Dragon clan. They actually have such a heaven and earth formation that can improve one's comprehension ability. Such a formation is extremely rare and precious. Upon arriving at the Dragon Field, the Divine Emperor of Heaven's formation looked around and was slightly surprised. Divine Emperor of Heaven's formation, thank you for your guidance. Wang Xian smiled at him and said, All right. The Divine Emperor of Heaven's formation nodded and immediately imparted the Tao of formations. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.